SCP-3700 might be one of the scariest SCPs of all time, and today we're going to be learning why.
Two massive creatures are locked in a fight to the death in the middle of the sea.
Oh, it's a giant crab and a giant sea serpent.
Cruisers and battleships fire special weapons and harpoons at one of the creatures.
Take them out.
Attempting to help turn
So
the
right off the
tide
bat,
in
guys,
favor of-
who do you think's winning the battle? There's two different
like
SCPs.
the giant serpent thing, I think.
You think so? Adam?
No, claws always win. I'm going Crabman.
All right, boys.
one, but they appear to have almost no effect on the gigantic monster.
Whoa,
Hi,
they're so
I'm
big.
Dr. Bob.
Humans are kind of a
and
joke.
this is
little bit, yeah.
SCP-3700, also known as the Tides of War.
It's one of the scariest SCPs I've ever heard of.
SCP-3700 is what the SCP Foundation has labeled an 800-kilometer circular area in the North Sea.
So it's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle a little bit. Just like a lot of bad stuff happens in this certain area out in the middle of nowhere.
And it lives in the water?
Yeah, it's two aquatic ocean creatures that are massive. They're kind of like Godzilla.
I was gonna say, that reminds me of Godzilla,
A
bro.
little bit.
Dude,
a little.
if Godzilla wakes up from this too, he's gonna destroy both of them easy.
You haven't even
He very
seen
well
them
could.
yet. You've only seen
Doesn't
their
matter.
shadows.
Godzilla's OP. Godzilla's OP.
Godzilla
Alec-
lost to King Kong, so shut
I
up.
will say, these creatures, they have some pretty insane powers.
Located
learn about those.
southeast of Iceland and north of the United Kingdom, the circle contains the Faroe, Orkney, and Shetland Islands. The seafloor is abnormally deep in this area, at roughly 5 kilometers below the ocean surface.
Whoa, it's really
roughly
deep.
20 times deeper than the rest of the North Sea.
So yeah, it's a giant like crater under the water.
SCP-3700.
I have a theory. The
Adam?
SCPs, the reason that there's a crater down there is because the SCPs are from space and they came down in a meteor and boom, that's what made that little crater.
Oh, interesting. And then that's why that area is the SCP
No.
area.
I know. It's because your mom went on a boat out there and did a cannonball. And then the cannonball made a giant crater. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that.
Maybe, but no.
I agree with that.
100 experiences all kinds
See?
of strange, anomalous activity, including extreme weather and geological events.
Oh,
These are
geological.
caused by the interaction between two separate entities, which have been designated as
I told you.
SCP-3701
Okay, that's the claw man.
and
And the serpent.
SCP-3702.
Wow, very creative names.
SCP-3701
It's like Dr. Seuss, maybe.
is an arthropod resembling the common
Well, there we go. We're
lobster,
seeing him for the first time.
except this
It's
crustacean
literally a
is
giant
6
lobster.
kilometers long, boys.
This is my guy. Alec, now's your chance to switch teams. Do it right now.
6 kilometers long?
Yeah, come on.
It's
come
big,
on.
and it has a drawing of a woman on it.
That is literally insane.
Are you switching
Alec,
teams?
Where's
do you
the
like
women?
women? It's on the thing. It's on the shell of the giant kraken lobster.
Oh,
I
that's
don't see
pretty
it.
epic.
I don't see it.
But no, my giant serpent is way longer than 6 kilometers, and it's known as the Woman Destroyer.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I did just make that up.
All right, let's learn how big it actually is.
It has a variety of blue, yellow, pink, and red
Who drew
markings
that? It looks like
carved
a-
into its carapace.
looks like
that
a
resembles
child
woman's
drew
face.
that.
It has
It was
6
me.
arm-like limbs, 4
Dang,
of which
kid.
have claws, with
It is
2 having
fully stacked.
club-like appendages on the end, and 8 legs.
Go ahead.
It also has
Ooh.
4 orange eyes at the end of
Ew,
stalks.
Four eyes.
that's kind of nasty.
3701's carapace shows significant damage, with many scars, cracks, and even
I
some
like the
holes
cracks
that
and
reveal
the
its
holes.
soft inner
That's
tissue.
from all the battles that it's won.
It has
Look at how
several
quick it is.
anomalous capabilities that it uses in its battle
Yo!
against SCP-3702.
Look at that snake.
Okay, if my guy is 6 kilometers, just imagine how big your guy is, Alec.
I think he
know.
might be bigger.
I think my guy could probably eat yours in one big bite. Like, that's what snakes do. They just gobble them up.
It looks like my dude's entire body is already in frame, but it looks like only like 10% of yours is.
That's only the tip of my neck. I still got my whole body, my booty, my tail.
But he doesn't have
Come
any
on.
arms, so you're trash. El
Its
That is
Ratio.
true.
club-like
It's more of a
appendages
snake.
Are capable of striking, but they
just
also
smacking me.
produce a cavitation bubble that
is that?
generates
Oh,
a force
wow,
equal
special
to
ability.
70
Just
pounds of
Kamehameha you.
dynamite, similar to what the mantis shrimp is able to do, but
Oh
on a
wow,
much
Logan Paul
larger
would love
scale.
this.
A mantis shrimp can
2
actually
of
do
its
that?
eyes are able to
No
project
way.
concentrated blasts of gamma
Oh, you're
radiation.
done. You're
What?
done.
And
You're
it's able
done.
to stop storms.
So far, it's looking like that first SCP's the
Despite
winner.
being 6 kilometers long,
Look at how fast it is.
3701
It looks so tiny.
can reach speeds faster than 100
That
kilometers
is way
per
faster
hour.
than Alec can
Let's
run.
go!
It's even shown the ability to demanifest
That's only 60
and
miles per
disappear
hour.
if it doesn't locate SCP-3702 within roughly 15 days
Okay.
after appearing. SCP-3701 appears to be friendly in nature and
That's
shows
so
some
weird.
small signs
Most
of
SCPs are not
intelligence.
friendly.
When accompanied by Foundation
It's like Adam because it only shows small signs of intelligence. No wonder
Adam-
you picked this one, Adam.
Oh, Adam.
No
Adam,
wonder you picked.
Adam knows how to pick them, let me tell you. I don't even think
nothing to
Adam
say.
can hear us.
No, you're
ships,
so dumb.
it will either ignore them or provide a small amount of aid by helping to move disabled craft
Aw,
away from danger.
That's actually really nice.
After appearing,
Good job,
it
Adam.
travels the full 800-kilometer area of SCP-3700.
Is it gonna make a heart?
In
It's making a
spiral
heart.
pattern
Oh.
from the center out toward the
Alex.
edge. Interestingly,
What?
the
Nowhere
center is
close
the
to a heart.
exact center point between the 3 island chains located within the circle and is home to numerous
Dude, he's
shipwrecks.
almost as big as the entire island. You see that?
Yeah, I mean, he's 6
Yes.
kilometers long. That's pretty big.
That's bigger than a lot of islands, probably.
Yeah, it's bigger than
Since
my
being
island.
first discovered by the Foundation in 1922, 3701 has slowed down considerably in its movement and has lost a significant
Oh, wait,
amount
that's
of
mine.
mass.
That's your guy.
It was first
Yeah,
measured
he's
at a
getting
length
lean.
of 16 kilometers.
Small signs
a
of
full
intelligence.
10 kilometers
Whoa!
longer than its current state. It also appears
Nah.
weaker
He's so
and seems to
tiny
be
now.
having a much harder time subduing SCP-3702.
Oh,
He can't subdue my
didn't know
guy.
that.
3702,
Oh, here's your guy.
on the other hand.
You know what's like the most crazy about these things is they could be real. I know that they're probably not, but humans have only explored what, like 5% of the ocean? Who knows what the heck is down there?
The ocean's
We
big,
don't know.
it's dark, it's deep, and it is very mysterious.
Literally, things like that could exist down there. We would never know.
I kind of
Looks like
It
it,
makes me wanna
belongs
go
to
in
the
the ocean
family of
more.
ray-finned fish and has an appearance that closely resembles the pelican eel.
I could see why Alec
except
liked this.
that it has 13 appendages
I call it
encircling the
the
middle section
gobbler.
of its body.
Ew.
These appendages
And also
look like
the
the
tickler.
tentacles of an
The tickler
octopus,
gobbler.
complete
Oh, it's
with
so
suckers,
gross.
and can tuck
It has
them into
suckers.
its body when not in use.
Ew.
3702 is currently 32 kilometers
so hairy.
long.
32
and opposite
kilometers.
to SCP-3701, it is growing larger, having only been 300 meters long when first identified in
Oh, it started as
1945.
just
it's
a baby.
growing.
Most of that length is the creature's whip-like tail that ends in a sharpened point.
Wow, it's huge. It is.
Dude.
It is so big.
32 kilometers of whippage it does, and then at the very end, it's got a very sharp, like, end of the tail.
And it also has the
It's gonna
tentacles
destroy
that
anything.
can suck.
The succulent tentacles, that's my favorite part.
I
If my
don't know-
crab,
I
if
don't
my
know about
crab
this.
lobster guy doesn't defeat this lizard-looking dude soon, he's never gonna be able to defeat him because this guy just keeps getting bigger and bigger. While my guy's shrinking.
Your guy's
Yeah.
getting smaller and smaller.
Kind of like real life. Alex getting bigger, Adam's getting smaller.
Yep, right
It's
now,
currently
that's
roughly
happening.
1 kilometer wide at its largest
Nah.
point, and each of its 13 tentacles is around 60 meters long.
That's above
its most
average.
distinctive feature is its massive mouth, which
Oh,
can
yeah.
open up almost 3 kilometers
How many
wide.
teeth are in there?
Wow.
3702
Okay,
is
I
black
understand
in
why
color,
Alec
with
loves
white,
this thing.
purple,
Oh,
and
yeah,
red
anything can fit in
bioluminescent
there.
lines that resemble a man's face
3
on either side of
kilometers
its
big.
torso.
So it's a man versus a woman.
SCP-3702
See,
can
I
create
told you, my
sudden
guy's
changes in
definitely
the
gonna
weather,
win.
They fight when they
generating
can just be
huge
friends
storms
and
and
love.
Category 5 hurricanes, as well as massive
It's all about world
whirlpools
domination.
that suck in any vessel within 150 meters.
Dude,
before
this guy just
grabbing them
loves
with its
sucking.
tentacles and tearing them
Oh my
apart.
Oh, he's evil. He's
It's
evil.
basically
also
the
able
Kraken.
to produce high-energy sound waves and streams
Look
of
at
blue
that.
fire.
Kinda
from its
reminds me of
mouth
like a demo
that it
dog.
uses to destroy close-range targets.
Except times a million.
SCP-3702
And has nothing to
appears
do
at
with demo
random
dogs.
locations
Their
within the
faces look
800
kinda like the
kilometer
same.
area, except during the spring and autumn equinoxes, when it appears at the exact center of SCP-3700. It stays submerged.
Oh, here we
unless-
go. Battle time.
Jack, did you pick your team yet?
No, I can't. I know who wins. I've seen this.
Jack, join me, Jack. Join me.
Adam, trust me, I can't. I can't.
Jack.
He doesn't
Adam,
want to
I
join
wish
the
that I
casino.
could.
That's
You're
not
gonna
good
get
for me
this
if Jack doesn't wanna join me.
I can't. I'm so sorry.
All right,
Adam.
all right,
Oh my
all right,
gosh.
fine. You know I'm gonna win though, Jack, right? You know. Jack.
Encounters
Did anybody hear that?
3701 or
Here we
another
go.
object, and
Wow,
will
my guy's
demanifest
way smaller
roughly
than I
15
thought.
days after
He's gonna
first
get
appearing.
gobbled up in 1
It's
second.
extremely hostile to any
Whoa.
creature or object that approaches it.
He's
and
mean.
has
Look at
even
that.
witnessed
What a
destroying
beast.
entire pods
We all know
of
mean guys
whales.
never win.
Conventional
He literally
weapons have
destroys
no effect on
entire
it.
pods
And
of
even
whales,
special
bro.
anomalous weapons
Dude.
used by the Foundation have only had a moderate effect.
Yep,
Only
they do basically
3701
nothing.
has so far been
Yay!
able to subdue it. When
Swanton bomb!
We just got
SCP-3701
RKO'd.
and 3702 do meet
embarrassed.
each other, they will engage in
go.
a prolonged fight, with each attempting to temporarily kill or subdue
That's
the
not
other.
gonna work. That ain't
Historically,
gonna work.
the winner of each contest would swap depending on which half of the year it was, with 3701 consistently winning during the Northern Hemisphere's spring and summer,
Ah.
and 3702
Oh, wow.
winning during the fall
Oh.
and winter.
So I guess
Yeah.
they get more power
Since
during the
Foundation
different
has
seasons.
begun implementing
Wait, so how many times have these guys fought?
I don't know. It sounds like they fought a lot of times. Kind of like Vatu and Rava from the Avatar series. It's like an endless battle that they just keep fighting over and over again every single year.
They should just like make up and kiss and stuff.
As much as I like SCP-3701, eventually he's not going to be big enough to be able to beat SCP-3702.
Adam, I know that took a lot of brain power to get out, and I agree. agree.
So this might be the time where the tides turn for SCP-3700 and what?
I'm gonna need you to calm down before your head explodes, because dude, you got it. You're spitting facts right
That's
now.
a really big number for Adam,
Implementing
guys.
containment
Give them all, everyone
procedures.
give him a round of applause.
SCP-3701 has won the last 64 cycles in a row. A number of changes happen
64
when one of the creatures
cycles.
wins. When 3701 is
Yeah.
successful, major
Yeah.
storms in the area immediately cease. Crop yields double.
So it's a good thing.
And local oceanic
Yeah.
life increases
Thank
their
you. He's a good
reproductive rates
guy.
by
He's a good
factor of
guy.
3.
Yeah, Alec, you're
This
on the
can
evil
lead to
team.
dead zones
I'm
forming
on
from the
the good
overpopulation
team.
of certain
The
species of
overpower team.
zooplankton.
Evil never
Erosion
wins.
rates on the islands also increase by a factor of 5, which has led to the Foundation needing to bring in large amounts of dirt and sand in an attempt
interesting.
to
You're a
combat
bully,
it.
Alec.
When SCP-3702 wins and subdues or kills 3701, the weather becomes
yeah.
very dangerous
kill each other?
with powerful hurricanes.
They, like,
and rapid
temporarily kill
temperature
each
changes.
other.
Wait, see, when your guy wins, like, he does some good stuff, but a lot of bad stuff happens too, like erosion and stuff. See?
It's not all.
It's not all good.
black and white. No, it's not. There's some gray stuff.
Changes that can range from below 0
Enough.
to over 28 degrees Celsius, capable
Oh, that
of
sounds
causing
pretty cool.
massive damage to buildings and huge
That,
losses
that's
of life.
not very good. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
travel
where's the
by
good?
sea
There's got to be some good that
becomes
happens.
difficult due to
It
huge
sounds
waves and storm
worse and
surges.
worse.
Okay, we're going on a cruise soon, and that I don't want to see that.
Yeah, that's
Ocean
scary.
food sources are
I think we're actually
driven from
going
the area,
past that
and
area.
crop yields are reduced. Following its victory,
canceling the trip.
3702 does not demanifest and instead continues to patrol the area and attack vessels.
Oh,
and
wow.
will even approach the islands themselves.
Oh my gosh, the cruise
okay.
ship looked like a
Foundation Naval
peacock.
I've
Task
heard
Force
zero
Delta
good
7,
things.
nicknamed Northern Storm, is tasked with locating and assisting SCP-3701.
What are they going to do with those puny little guns? Bro, my guy is 32 kilometers long. What is that little harpoon going to do?
They're not
They
gonna
have
is that
to
going to
try.
do?
What do you want them to do? Nothing?
He literally wouldn't even feel it. He wouldn't even know if they shot him.
mean,
Can you
yeah.
imagine, like, close your eyes and think about being 32 kilometers long.
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa!
Wow.
Everything's so small.
You see? You guys get it now? What are the little harpoons gonna do? They're not gonna do. Oh, God, Adam.
Adam, what did you find? Did you find
What
two
happened?
big boulders? Okay, I think Adam's too big for his own good. Snap back. Oh my gosh, it's still tiny.
Battle against
I'm back.
3702. Purchased from the United States military, it consists of 13 destroyers, 5 cruisers, and 15 smaller support
That's gonna
craft.
do
That's a-
When Delta
nothing.
7
It's a
locates
whole armada.
SCP-3701. It will often acknowledge their presence by raising 2 of its claws into the air
Aw.
and clicking them while making a
What's
low
up,
rumbling noise with
boys?
its
Hey,
mouth.
guys.
my friends.
Delta
Hi,
7 then
guys.
accompanies SCP-3701.
Oh yeah, we got allies. Alec, you
as
have
it
no
patrols
friends.
its 800
I
kilometer
don't need
area
friends,
for
boy.
3702.
True, you're 32
Once the
kilometers
two meet,
long.
Delta 7 engages in Protocol
mouth.
Winter Maelstrom, where the destroyers
Oh.
shoot harpoon-based anchors into
Yeah, shoot 'em with your
3702's
poon.
head before moving in a circular pattern while they and battleships fire on it to ensure
like an
it can't
endless
orient
butthole.
That's
itself.
about to be GG's for you, Alec.
The cruisers, meanwhile, attempt to draw
Oh,
its
we're
attention
good.
by firing and moving in a serpentine pattern at a
bullets do
distance
absolutely
of
nothing.
300 meters. The two creatures will battle, blasting each other with gamma radiation and
Blast
powerful
him.
sound waves.
It's working.
They whip, bite, and club each other, cracking armor
Oh,
and
wow.
ripping off
There we go.
tentacles and other
No.
appendages.
No!
One finally stops moving
Oh no.
and dissolves into the
Oh, no.
sea.
Oh!
Should SCP-3702 be successful in defeating 3701, then
Seems like
Project
he was.
Tumult is activated, and the following procedures must take place.
Crap.
First, there is an immediate evacuation
I think
of
we
all
did it.
naval and civilian
I
craft.
think so,
from the
uh,
800
Okay, why is there so many civilians going in that area when they know it's that dangerous? That's pretty irresponsible.
I mean, yeah. Well, it seems like they have a plan in place now, which is good, to evacuate the area.
100-kilometer zone. Next, all trade and ferry routes are stopped or
Good call,
rerouted
Jack.
for at least 6 months, and land-based aquatic defenses are activated. Aerial craft will continue to monitor and engage with 3702, while others continue to look for a reappearance of SCP-3701. Since it appears that SCP-3701 continues to physically degrade, and with the exact
That's so
opposite being
sad.
true for 3702,
Dang it.
it's been proposed to let 3702 win and subdue 3701 twice every 5 years.
Wow.
Really?
Despite the terrible
Oh,
effect
wow.
on locals in the area. Though this plan has yet to be approved, it may be the only chance to stop 3702 from becoming so strong.
Okay, what is this angle we're getting right now?
He's OP.
He's
you don't like it, bro?
He's a secret man. We can't know his real identity.
I can tell.
It's not Professor Oak.
It's Professor Cloak.
3701 is never able to defeat it again.
Wow.
Boys, that is it. Now you know everything there is to know about SCP-3700, and you don't have to be scared of the ocean anymore. Or maybe you do.
All that I know is that my dude destroyed Adam's dude. Get wrecked, Almozo! Yeah!
Have you guys ever heard of SCP-096?
No.
That's probably for the best. He is better known as Shy Guy, one of the strongest, most powerful SCPs. And today, we're going to be learning about his sad origin story.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Bob here. I know you're not used to seeing me here at the start of videos.
Is that him?
But that's because today
No, that's
we have
Dr.
an
Bob.
extremely pressing matter to attend to. One that cuts to the deepest core of one of the SCP Foundation's deadliest contained anomalies. SCP-096, the Shy Guy.
No.
It's a creature that needs no introduction, because it probably haunts all of your nightmares already. Close your eyes and
does.
picture it in your mind's eye.
Okay, guys, tell me what you're picturing. What are you picturing for SCP-096?
I see.
Get away.
I see Adam.
Get away.
Is he clothed or naked?
I see Adam running, and he's running from someone who looks beautiful.
Okay.
What is going on?
Is it
And
me?
it's
is
your
not
mom.
scary. What are you-
It's your mom, guys. Shy Guy is your mom. What a plot twist.
A gaunt face with the slack jaw and the lifeless white eyes. The face you hope never to see as long as you live. The pale skin pulled
Ew.
tight against
Oh
bone.
my gosh.
Those impossibly long, gangly limbs. It sits there in its airtight containment cube, covering its face and quietly sobbing. Always sobbing, as though cursing something beyond.
I thought that was Alec making the crying sound. I don't know why.
Why does he choose to be in a corner? Why can't he just cry anywhere else?
Adam,
Were you guys
he's-
ever-
He's shy.
Were you guys ever shy in like elementary school and like didn't talk to anybody? Because I used to be like that. I was pretty shy growing up, and like so it's relatable. Like I'm kind of relatable to like the Shy Guy.
Doesn't the Shy Guy murder a lot of people?
Well, only if they look at him.
Okay, so nobody looks at him then. He's camped in a corner.
Technically, you're looking at him right now.
I'm not
Still an
looking at his.
understanding. Perhaps
though.
when thinking about SCP-096,
I'm looking
you
at
feel a
something
pang
else.
of sympathy mixed with the terror. After all, this anomaly is no sadist. Why would a sadist cry as it kills, like SCP-096 does? You're not alone in asking
Are you
this
laughing
question.
at him?
I've spent many a night poring over classified files with an ever-freshening pot of coffee, trying to piece together the answers. SCP-096 is considered one of the most dangerous Euclid-class creatures in containment, and yet
Do you guys know what Euclid?
I was about to say it. Me no understand big word.
Okay, so there's 3 different classes in SCP. There's Safe, there's Euclid, and then there's Keter class. So Safe is green. Safe means that it's good, it's not gonna hurt you. Euclid is kind of like Minecraft spiders. They're neutral, so as long as you don't touch it, it won't touch you.
Okay.
And then
Shy
Keter
Guy's not even
class,
that bad.
you don't even want to know about Keter class.
Okay, so Shy Guy, he's not even evil. He's just like a nice guy that doesn't want to hang out with anybody.
As long as you stay away from him, he's not evil.
so little about it is known, beyond its capability to do great harm whenever someone is unlucky enough to see its face and send it into its rage state. How did this happen? It's a question for the curious, like you or me, and after months of strenuous research, I believe I may have an answer. Whether you choose to believe it is up to you. Just be
believe
warned.
it? Is this
when you
real?
hear what I believe to be the
do.
heart.
Wait, this is like a real thing? This is actually making me
No,
feel like
no.
that SCPs are
Jack,
real. I
it's
always
not
thought
real.
SCPs
Jack,
were
it's not
fake.
real.
Okay, guys, we don't know for sure. Do you remember creepypastas when you were like 13 years old?
Yeah.
Like Slender
Usually
Man,
my mom just gave me spaghetti.
Entity 303.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Back in the day, I wasn't sure if they were real or not. So maybe they are real, maybe they're not.
Well, this guy's really convincing me that it's real.
That's
He
not
could
real.
be,
That is
Alec.
not real. Please, somebody say in the comments it's not real. Please.
We've only explored like 5% of the ocean, so it could be down in the ocean.
Good
You
point.
never know. Could be an
Heartbreaking,
alien.
tragic origin of this terrifying and pitiful monster. You may never be able to look at him the same way again. Not that looking at him should ever be high on your list of priorities. It begins in a tavern in a small Nepalese village a few miles away from the Chinese border, where Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain above sea level, waits. Its mere existence is like a challenge to the brave and foolhardy. Conquer me, it seems to whisper. Conquer me and declare yourself above
Not
Why is
Alex
it
is
whispering
those I
that to
have
people?
conquered. Become a god
Conquer
among
me.
men. It's always whispering like this, but few, in the
Stop,
grand scheme
Mount
of things,
Everest.
can actually hear it. And sadly for him,
No, Mount
the
Everest, no,
explorer
I won't.
is among those
Okay,
few.
I'll do it.
Fine.
He's sitting in one of the tavern's many cozy
Wait, come on. Alec, can you act like you're eating something?
That looks like me?
If you shaved,
Alec, come on.
For real?
if you shaved and parted your hair,
That guy
I
does
mean,
not look like me.
That looks like you from 2017.
I have red hair. I have red hair.
Are we seeing
Oh
the
my
origin
God.
story of Shy Guy? You always said you were shy as a kid. Oh my
some people
God,
do
dude.
say Alec is a pretty shy guy. Okay, everybody's clicking off this video. Please don't leave the video, guys. Please don't leave the video.
Okay,
he's
no
gonna put
wonder
his
he
hat
didn't
back
have.
on.
All I'm gonna say is no wonder he didn't have any friends in elementary school.
He's gonna put his hat back on in 3,
I am scared.
2, 1. Okay, we're safe. Whew.
They ate a plate of mutton
Wow.
curry while sipping from a brass bowl of white chiang, a popular local drink. The explorer, living up to his name, has come a long way to get here. The rest of the village locals in the tavern eye him with a variety of knowing glances. They've seen so many like him before. Smug smiles and
There
puffed
he is.
chests,
There's Alex.
thinking they'll be
Hey,
able to count
the French
themselves
maid.
among the exalted few who've conquered the mountain to end all mountains.
I'll climb Mount
The
Everest with you
bodies
guys.
of many men like this
Oh,
are
never
still
mind.
frozen to the mountain's surface.
What the?
don't
Of
One
course
brave
my
local-
guy
An
dies.
older man.
What?
I said, of course my guy dies.
Well, yeah.
My fellow ginger man.
Yeah, that's why there's not many of them left. They probably all try to climb Mount Everest.
They're trying to conquer Mount Everest
Yeah.
and just die.
Probably.
Who can speak English fluently,
Not a bad way to
slides in
go.
across the table from the explorer. The old-timer tells him that whatever he thinks he'll find up on the mountain, honor, glory, recognition, he'd be
Alex,
better
you're
off
mine.
searching for it elsewhere. Death awaits on the icy rocks above. The explorer, young, fit, and still feeling mighty smug, replies that death is there for the people who haven't worked hard enough, who haven't prepared. He's scaled other mountains before, all across the globe, from Scotland to Peru. Everest would hold no surprises for him, just a
Okay, I don't understand how this relates to Shy Guy at all, Jack. What is going on?
Adam, you gotta just wait, okay? The story's
Okay,
building.
all right.
And okay, I have a theory. Either A, this guy becomes Shy Guy, or B, Shy Guy is waiting at the top of Mount Everest and he dies to him.
I thought, like, since so many people die at Mount Everest, Shy Guy's just waiting up there.
It very well could be, Adam. Shy Guy can survive pretty much any environment, at least that I know of.
The thing is, it's definitely option A because this is the origin story of Shy Guy. So it's like the beginning of Shy Guy.
Maybe that's Shy Guy and he tries to climb it and then he gets stuck.
Exactly. The problem
Exactly.
is though that this guy's not shy at all. Like he doesn't have any similarities with Shy Guy. So how does he end up turning into Shy Guy?
Maybe he loses all of his clothes and he gets really skinny, and then that's when he becomes shy because he doesn't want people to look at him because he's self-conscious.
And he loses his hair.
new,
That's-
compelling
I wouldn't
challenge.
want people looking at me if I lost my
The
hair.
old man is,
You kinda
as you
just,
could
like,
probably
defined my
imagine,
life, bro.
unamused by the explorer's hubris. All confidence and bluster now, he says with his thin, raspy voice. But what will you say when you're face to face with the king? The explorer,
The king?
assuming that this king refers to the mountain itself, smiles and replies, I'll ask him for his crown.
Shy Guy the king?
With that, the old man
Interesting.
leaves, content that he
He's
at least
shy.
tried to dissuade the explorer from going on this doomed journey. If nothing else, his conscience would be clear now. He had done all that he possibly could. The explorer, not bothered by the grim prophecies of superstitious locals, finishes his curry and chung and retires to the room he rented upstairs. He's so excited. Tomorrow,
so
it will
happy?
finally be time. All his months of training will pay off.
'Cause
He
he's
will
the conqueror
climb
of
to
Mount
Mount
Everest.
Everest's peak. It would be an achievement to last a whole lifetime.
I'd be nervous.
One he would never ever forget, no matter how much he wants to. The next day, the
Whoa.
tip of his ice axe cleaves into the mountainside.
we go!
As he grunts, strains, and
Come
pulls
on!
himself up another few feet. He's about 2,000
Dude, he's doing it
meters
all
up.
by himself.
And every
You got
additional
this!
meter is
2,000
fighting him.
meters, bro? Oh
It's
my
the
god.
bitterest cold he's ever known.
That is
a freeze
crazy.
so deep it makes his incredibly expensive thermal locking clothes feel like he's wearing wet one-ply toilet paper. But the pain
I
doesn't
hate
matter.
that.
The cold doesn't matter. He finds it exhilarating.
He's still happy.
Of course,
That's crazy.
just as the old man had warned, death could be waiting for him on this mountain. But the truth is, the explorer has never felt more alive. He winches himself up a few feet more, trying to regulate his breathing as his icy fingers, wrapped in thick
This is
gloves,
definitely not
struggle
Shy
to find
Guy.
purchase on what feels
I don't
like a
think
sheer
so, Adam.
cliff face.
I think it was option
There
B.
are many times when he's supporting his full body weight with only his hands. It often takes the kind of Herculean strength that only a lifetime of training can give you.
I think I could
After
do it.
all, there's no room for error on Mount Everest. One wrong move, and you're either plummeting to your death or becoming a permanent frozen fixture of the mountainside. And because Everest is so dangerous, nobody comes to collect the bodies of dead mountaineering hopefuls. Their corpses,
That is
coated in
true.
often colorful winter jackets, litter the mountain. Some look at them
Yeah,
as a
that's real.
tragic warning. Other, more morbid mountaineers use them as mile markers for their own more successful ascents. Whether the explorer would be lucky or become just another dead, frozen mile marker is still entirely up to chance.
That's really creepy.
Whoever goes up this mountain by themselves, that's probably like not known ever.
Usually you're supposed to go up with like some sort of tour guide that has done it hundreds, if not thousands of times, and you go up with a giant group of people that know what they're doing. But this guy's crazy. He's doing it all by himself.
If this video gets 45,000 likes, I will go up Mount Everest by myself.
And I'll shake your hand and watch you go, Adam.
I think I can do it.
To climb this mountain on your own, you have to be best climber Everest.
Okay, can we
He
just...
climbs for a few more
Black
hours,
out.
pushing past his body's complaints,
face
his
cam.
physical limitations, until he reaches a well-earned plateau.
Let him cook.
Here, he establishes a small base camp and
That's
eats
where
some
Shy
of his
Guy is. I'm
rations.
telling you, get out of
The
there.
area is thankfully
He's gonna
guarded
get ya.
enough to keep
He's
out the
gonna
worst
touch
of
ya.
the sub-zero winds, so he can at least get some sleep without
Here we
freezing to
go.
death. Mount Everest cannot be conquered today, and even someone with the
Sleeping
explorer's
on
bravado
or in
wouldn't
Mount
dare
Everest.
to try.
That's cool.
But
That'd
as
be a
he
cool
settles
video.
down to sleep for the night, he can't
you're
help but
freezing.
look up. And
He's
the
in a little
enormity
cocoon.
of what stands before him, he finds utterly terrifying.
Wait, how was he still looking
the
at
mountain
Mount
just
Everest when
keeps
he's in
going
it?
and going
There's, like,
and
different
going,
peaks.
stretching up into the misty heavens, like the tip would only be a short jump from the moon. For the first time, the explorer begins to genuinely wonder, will I scale this mountain, or will I die on it? What he never even considered.
This is the first time he's not smiling. He's getting nervous.
He's freezing. He's in a cave, and he hasn't even done it yet. He has to sleep there the entire night. I'd be scared.
I think what they don't think about either is that they have to get all the way back down the mountain too. And that must take almost as long as climbing up it.
You just take like a sled and go...
I don't think it's as easy as that, Adam.
That's an easy way to die.
Is that there may be a third option that's so much worse. Over the next few days, he keeps climbing further
he's
and
still going.
further. Hundreds, then thousands of meters pass under him as he breaks past even the boundaries biology seemed to set for him. He's impossible to deter. An engine of pure, burning willpower, going
He's a
because he
beast.
knows he cannot stop.
Beast.
Because he knows that if he throws in the towel now, it will have all been for nothing. He'll be just another failure, one speck among billions. He'll have no meaning, no legacy. He'll just be another average Joe, forgotten. And that honestly scares him even more than the prospect of freezing to death up here. Eventually, even though it costs him almost everything to do it, he reaches 8,000 meters,
What?
an area
The
known
death
as
zone?
the Death Zone, where
Huh?
That can't be real.
So when you reach that, are you guys turning around, or what do you guys do?
I
You
mean,
gotta
at
keep
that,
going.
I mean, at that point, you're in too deep. You gotta keep going.
Well, the thing is, like, if you do something as serious as try to climb Mount Everest, you have to have the understanding of, like, yeah, I might die on this trip, you know? So, like, when you see that, it's like, yeah, like, you gotta expect that to be a possibility. So, yes, you see that, and you're like, all right, here we go. This is
got
what I signed
really
up
real.
for.
I think I'd turn around.
This
Yeah,
isn't
of
even
course
the
you would.
scary part yet.
It's
where
not.
it's
Wait,
believed
how
to
many
be
meters is
impossible
it?
for humans to acclimate. This is the
8,000
thin,
meters
rarefied
high.
air that few have been permitted to breathe.
least.
And he's seen so many brightly colored mile markers on the way to here. The ground is slippery, and the air chews into the explorer's skin, but he knows he's made it this far. Less than 1,000 meters from the peak now, he has
Oh, he's almost there.
conquered the mountain. So you can only imagine how surprised he feels when he sees another
Please don't be
mountaineer
Shy Guy. Please
walking
don't be
down the
Shy
side
Guy.
of the mountain towards him with an eerie kind of casualness. He's wearing standard mountain
No.
climbing gear,
No.
including white thermal
Is that
pants
Michael
and
Jackson?
a hooded coat, zipped up to the chin. The explorer can't make out the stranger's face beyond the pair of thick, black
out your
goggles
gun now.
he's wearing over his
Who is
eyes.
this?
What the hell is going on here?
I start tossing snowballs at him, make him take off his face mask.
You think so? Well, it's just probably another person, right?
No. Why do you think there's all these dead bodies? Mount Everest is easy to climb. It's the animals and the people there that make it so hard.
I don't think any animals live there, Adam.
They do, and they don't want you to conquer the mountain because it's like this huge accomplishment. So they'll do whatever they can to not let you succeed.
Interesting.
That's why
I
I'll
never
bring
knew that.
I'll bring an M16 when I
You'll
go.
bring Alec as bait.
And I'll bring Alec as bait.
smart.
I'm gonna bring one of them slow cookers and have some beef jerky.
Alec, can I bring you when I go and bring you as bait as well?
Whatever you guys need to do, I'm here for you.
Thanks, Al.
That's a big piece of bait.
The second the stranger's eyes fall upon him, he feels a frightening sensation. The bite of the cold
That's gotta be
is
Shy Guy.
gone. The chilling winds can't reach him. Instead, he feels warm, cozy,
He's
and content,
smiling again.
like he's
Ew.
sitting in front of
Adam,
a
what's
warm
that behind
fire
you?
in a well-insulated log cabin.
Okay, stop. Don't.
In any
don't
other
do that.
circumstance,
I
these
swear I saw
sensations
something.
might be welcomed, but a seasoned mountaineer knows that this is actually one of the worst things you can feel.
Really?
It means that death is creeping in,
Oh.
and your body is opening the front door and welcoming it.
That's probably not even real. It
That's
could
not
be
even a real person?
hallucination. Yeah, a hallucination.
Whoa, what is that?
Hallucination.
Yeah, it is a fascination.
Oh my gosh. Wait, this is what death looks like?
I guess so, yeah. Death is at the front door, and he's about to let it in.
That's not even that bad then. So when you're about to die, you actually smile. You enjoy it.
Yeah, but you don't want to die, Adam, remember? Don't do it, Adam. Don't go in.
Okay, yeah, I forgot.
up.
Sorry, I
Wake
forgot.
up, wake up.
And if this stranger is causing that feeling, then one thing is certain. He's bad news. The explorer wants to turn and run, but he finds that he can't. It's almost as though he's frozen in place, entranced by the warm, inviting feeling that the other mountaineer seems to exude as he gets closer and closer. That's when the explorer notices something strange about him. Something is glowing through his goggles, like hot
Run
embers
the other
burning
way!
a bright,
Oh, he's a
luminous
ginger.
orange. Are those eyes? Dear God, are those his eyes?
He's a demon.
Go the
Explorer
other
can
way.
Feel their terrible stare. It's
not worth it.
Feel it. It hurts to be looked at by this monster. Yes, that's what it is. A monster. A monster in the shape of a man. Why are you here, mortal? Comes a booming voice from the inhuman mountaineer. Do you wish to challenge me?
Who is that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
The
whoa,
explorer
whoa.
can't form words. He's quaking, his body acknowledging the cold that his mind can't as those two glowing eyes bore into him. Speak, the stranger commands.
Okay, Jack, you are the most knowledgeable in SCPs. Could this potentially be a different SCP that maybe transforms others into SCPs and now, like, the original guy becomes Shy Guy?
I'm super proud of you. You're very much on the right track. However, not a chance. This is definitely not an SCP. This is like the spawn of Satan, okay? This is not an SCP.
Is that not what
I've never
SCPs
seen
are?
a
Satan
no,
is an SCP?
No. Trust me. Trust me. Demons and SCPs, completely different, okay? Sometimes SCPs seem like demons, but trust me, this is definitely not an SCP. This is the spawn of the devil, okay? And it also could be a hallucination inside of his brain. We don't even know if this thing is real.
Unless Jack is an SCP and his role is to confuse our brain into thinking that that's not an SCP.
Unless you're an SCP and your role is to convince me that Jack's an SCP and you're actually the SCP and I'm the one that needs to reverse the entire mindset, and really, I was right the whole time.
The only way to get to the bottom of this is to smash like, and if it turns blue, Alec is an SCP.
Who? What? Are you? The explorer forces out between chattering teeth. The stranger laughs.
Hey, conquer
I
me.
am the king of the mountain. Though to the SCP Foundation, he's better known as SCP-1529.
Oh,
and he's the
I
worst
called
possible
it!
thing you can run into while trying to scale Mount
Well,
Everest.
not. You
The
have
explorer
called it.
remembers
Let's
his
see.
conversation with the old man in the tavern. The question he asked,
The
what
king.
will you say when you're face to face with the king? And his own foolish answer, I'll ask him for his crown. Now, really, truly face to face with the king of the mountain, all the poor terrified explorer can do is whimper and beg for mercy.
Oh, that's not
Please,
what you do.
he says, the tears freezing on his cheeks as they fall.
What do you do?
I just wanted to climb.
Wait, this might be a really dumb question, but if you cry when you're on Mount Everest, wouldn't your eyeballs just freeze?
I think it just said that, like, the tears freeze as soon as they hit your face. But you wear goggles so that your eyeballs don't freeze.
Oh, okay. All right.
King of the mountain laugh, his eyes burning. Then you will climb, he says, and climb and climb and climb.
Isn't that
The
what he's
king of the
doing
mountain
anyways?
must have wielded
so.
truly unspeakable power to do what he does next.
Whoa.
With a simple nod, the explorer is
What?
suddenly hanging off of the mountainside, his fingers
He's a
digging into
waterbender.
the craggy
Oh, no.
rocks. The only thing supporting his weight. It was like being back at square one all over again, except with added pain, terror, and cold so deep he can feel his
Oh,
bones
no.
rattling. And all the while, he feels those eyes upon him, those burning, fiery eyes, staring with absolute malice.
Okay, the other guy, the guy with the scar, should have gave him a better warning. Like, he just like lightly mentioned the king. If he actually knew that this guy was up here, I would be screaming and putting signs up, have ads up on the wall.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, whatever the government that's in place there, they should not let people walk up this mountain if they know this is at the top.
That's like how when. Nah, never mind.
He keeps climbing. Every time he reaches a plateau, a place where he might camp and find even momentary comfort, the king of the mountain is already waiting there, staring that horrible stare.
Ooh.
And just like that, the explorer was climbing again, wind whipping against him like 40 lashes
Not
from a
gonna
cat o'
win.
nine tails. That, coupled with the endless strain of the climb on his
going
muscles,
down.
is the worst agony he's ever felt.
You gotta
And
just
yet-
let go.
He never dies.
Huh?
Even though he hasn't eaten in days, weeks, months, years, he never, ever
Years?
dies.
No, wait.
He just fulfills the same torturous loop over and over again. It's like the king of the mountain is just keeping him alive for his own amusement, a toy that's impossible to break. But while the
Years?
explorer never breaks, as time goes on and the torments never cease,
Oh,
he does
it was
begin to
option A.
change, like rock being molded by the tide. First, from the endless stress,
him.
his hair falls out. His skin goes pale from the lack of sun. His body
He's
becomes
gonna be
thin
the
and
SCP.
wiry from starvation and malnourishment. The endless physical strain even
What?
works his limbs. His arms and
I
legs begin
called
to
it.
stretch.
I
his body
literally
becomes
called it.
elongated
That is
and
exactly what I
grotesque.
said.
All the way through this horrific, dehumanizing ordeal, the king of the mountain stares at him. One day, the explorer, now changed, reaches a plateau, and as can be expected, the king of the mountain stares at him with his burning eyes.
How?
The explorer cowers and covers his face with his hands,
No.
sobbing from exhaustion. He just wants the king of the mountain to look away, to leave him be. He babbles incoherently. He doesn't want to be seen anymore.
Oh my gosh, this is
His
crazy.
pain simply makes the king of the mountain laugh. I gave you your wish, the mountain king says, his voice oozing with contempt. You climbed, didn't you? You thought that your climbing would elevate you, make you more than human.
What?
But now, you're so much less.
It's
Our
gross.
business concludes here. I'm tired of playing with you. And with that, the king is gone. The explorer is alone, stranded among the snow and the whipping winds of the death zone, but very much alive. He's finally able to go.
That's literally exactly what I said. I said the king was another SCP turning other people into SCPs, and that was Shy Guy.
But he only turned this one guy into an SCP. Why didn't he do it with other people?
Common Siren W.
Because this guy's the strongest climber out of everybody, so he knew that this was going to be the guy. He probably
Interesting.
tested everybody else, but they all failed.
Exactly.
Those were
They
the dead
died to the
bodies.
tests.
The one thing I am curious about is why does Shy Guy become so violent then when people look at him?
Because Jack, he's been climbing for years.
And all he remembers is the king's stare. He didn't want the king to look at him anymore, so he doesn't want anyone to look at him.
Dude, but he should be, if anything, like nicer to people because he just got tormented for so many years.
He hasn't
Nah,
had
he's
social
changed.
contact in years, Jack. He doesn't know how to interact with people.
At long last, after what felt like an eternity, he's escaped. When the explorer arrives in the village again, he's not the explorer at all. It's been years since he went missing on the mountain. The old man who had warned him not to go up onto Mount Everest had passed peacefully in the interim. The other members of his small village would not be afforded the same luxury. Instead, the explorer stumbled back through the village limits, still covering his face. The only sounds he can hear are the wailing wind and his own pitiful sobbing. Everything hurts. He's so
He's gonna turn
terribly
evil.
afraid. He needs somebody to help him. Why will nobody help him? The sun begins to rise, and the village shakes itself awake. People leave their homes to go about their daily tasks. None of them are expecting to see a monster loping through their streets.
Okay, what I think happens is that the Shy Guy, he's just looking for help right now, right? He's actually just a normal person. But then everybody
what they
calls
said.
him a monster and ugly and this and that, and you're stupid, you're bald. You literally have red hair, but it all fell out. So now you're
Exactly, so they
bald.
start
You have
bullying
nothing.
him.
Even your arms are weird. Like you
then
have
he
the
lashes
whitest of skin.
That makes sense, Adam. Actually, you might be a genius.
So they keep calling him a monster,
Pale,
so he turns
gangling
in.
monstrosity,
what people are
stretched and
calling it.
hairless. It engenders a mix of fear and curiosity as it stumbles around, audibly sobbing with a loud, warped voice. It's like nothing any of them have ever seen before, like something out of a myth or a folk tale. But for the monster that was once the explorer, it's so much worse. At first, he thinks that the villagers might be there to
my
help him.
gosh.
But then,
Is he
he
blind?
sees their eyes, that same intense, burning fire pit orange as the king
I
of the
told
mountain.
you.
What?
That
Oh,
same
I
horrible
see.
gaze that the
Why do they
explorer
all
thought
have
had
eyes
escaped
like
when he
that?
left the mountain.
king did it to
gaze
him.
that meant pain, torment, and madness. Even when he tries to cover his face, when he wails at them to go away in words that make sense to no one but him, he can still feel those terrible eyes on him. Is he still on the mountain? Is he still at the mercy of the Mountain King? Are these all just illusions or projections, another awful trick? What did he ever do to deserve this kind of torment? Was the crime of wanting to climb a damn mountain worth this kind of everlasting suffering? Did it earn him the gaze of all these monstrous eyes? The explorer begins to feel his anguish being replaced by another feeling, rapidly rising rage,
angry.
the kind of pure, blistering hatred
Oh,
that
he wants
inexorably
revenge.
leads to one result:
Here we go.
violence. First, he screams.
Oh my
Then
God.
they scream.
I don't know what to
And
do. I
finally,
don't know what I would do.
The killing begins.
Was he eat
The
them?
creature
What does he
that had once
do?
been the explorer
Kills
leaves
them.
no stone unturned. Even when they try to run away, He still feels their eyes
How
on
is he
him.
so fast?
He needs to kill them all.
This is one of the strongest SCPs. People say this is the
How did he get
strongest
so strong?
SCP,
From, I
actually.
guess, from training over and over and
I
over?
guess.
He's like One Punch Man.
And the king must have gave him some insane powers, because as soon as you look at Shy Guy, even if you go to outer space, even if you go under the water, you go anywhere, he's gonna find you and he's gonna kill you. There's no escaping.
Wait, what if I hide in like a secret nuclear bunker? There's no way he's getting there.
Doesn't matter, yeah. He's gotten in every single place, everywhere, anytime, you're dead.
Them quickly, leave no trace. It's the only way he can feel anything close to at peace again. It becomes a kind of terrible chain reaction. The sound of the horrors going on in the street only entices more to come outside and see what's going on, to look at the creature causing all this carnage, to see its face. They have no idea that this very
I hate
action
this.
is
What
dooming
if that
them.
was the last thing you've
And
ever
within
seen?
the hour, the village is empty.
Well, it was
save
for those
for
people.
one
That'd be
creature.
terrible.
The creature that had once been the explorer, now just afraid, confused,
Don't.
and alone.
Oh, I mean,
He will
for him.
always
oh, get
be
him!
alone. The anomaly that will soon be known as
crying.
SCP-096 simply bows its
I
head
kind of feel bad for him now.
and weeps.
Yeah, me
If you
too.
want to support our important mission,
Wow, that is the story of Shy Guy.
That was so sad.
Jack? Jack! Oh, God, no! Today we're watching the origin stories of one of my favorite, but one of the scariest SCP creatures of all time, the Sculpture, also known as SCP-173.
Oh God.
He is known to have 50,000 murders, and you could be next if you don't leave a like on today's video.
We were a team, despite our differences, in spite of the terrible things they'd done. We were still a team. That's not how the higher-ups saw it, though. No. The guys upstairs with their perfectly pressed shirts. For them, we were judged by our level of expendability, and they knew that our next mission was a death sentence. One by one, that thing took out my team,
Oh, it has
Oh
to
my
be it.
gosh.
friends,
It's the statue.
snapping their necks so quickly and with such ease that no sooner did I hear the scream, they were dead. We had been used. I'd been used. Yes. Delivered as prey to the predator.
Yes. What are you
plot
saying
that
yes
would-
for? Adam, why are you saying yes? Like, are you excited for this?
Do you want the Sculpture to kill all of the D-class personnel?
It's like a car crash. You can't look away. Like, it's interesting. I love it. That's why it's one of my favorite SCPs.
It is one of the most scary SCPs because you can never ever take your eyes off of it, and if you do, you're dead.
Was sanctioned by the bosses and approved with a blood red stamp. Why did they do it? I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe that's something you can tell me after you hear how these so-called scientific men left us in this cell.
They seem evil. Wait, are some scientists on the team of the SCP-173?
I don't think so. I think if I had to guess, SCP-173 was probably just brought into the facility, and they have to do every test possible to figure out what this thing's strengths are and what its weaknesses are.
How would you test something that you can't even see? As soon as you look at it, it kills you.
No, you could look at it, yeah, no, but you can't ever look away from it, Adam. I think you're mixing up Shy Guy and the Sculpture.
They're probably looking at it with cameras, Adam. The scientists.
If you ever look away, then it kills you.
In the hands of SCP-173. For me, it had been the best of times before it became the worst of times. The best, because I'd quickly risen through the ranks of the facility. The worst, because, well, I'll get to that. I was never the best student. I finished high school by the skin of my teeth, and my job prospects looked bleak. But I was lucky, I guess. Or at least I thought so at the time. You see, I have an uncle Siegfried who did some work for the government. I never
he looks
actually knew
familiar.
what he did, just that it was secretive work. I used to imagine he was some sort of super spy, so you can imagine how excited I was when he found out I needed a job and he offered to help me out.
He's
I
handsome.
couldn't believe it. I always thought he hated me. I'd overheard him telling my parents that I was a no-good deadbeat, and how he'd had a change of heart and was willing to take me under his wing. What would I get to do? Undercover intelligence gathering? International assassinations? Just you wait, he said.
I think my prediction is this ginger guy is setting his friend up. He's gonna run an experiment on the guy to test with the SCP-173, and he's gonna get locked in a cage with SCP-173.
I think you're probably right. That's what a lot of people in the SCP Foundation actually do. They trick people into coming into the facility under the facade that like things are gonna be good, and then they put them in the cells with these SCPs just to see what happens.
And I'm pretty sure some of these SCPs are actually based off of true stories. So we're gonna find out if this is actually real.
In the true story, he
That's how I
doesn't have
found
red hair though.
myself walking into a sprawling, futuristic-looking facility where they handed me a level 1 security clearance card with big, bold letters that read, janitor. But I was happy.
Okay.
Just the word security clearance made me feel important, and it beat flipping burgers. I pushed mops, turned off lights, fired up generators, clocked in, and clocked out.
This guy has no idea where he's
All
working.
that time,
Zero.
they must have been watching me, grooming me, waiting for the day they could throw me to the wolves. I should have known. I've always been an expendable kind of guy.
Wait, is he gonna have to clean the room with the
That's what I think
SCP-173?
is probably going to happen. Yeah, they're going to send him into the room, and he doesn't know what the SCP is. So he's going to have to figure out very quickly to never look away from this SCP until he's safe.
It seems like this facility is like locked down because they have like weapons and all this stuff. I wonder if they're trying to use these SCPs as like military weapons, you know? That's why they're trying to figure out exactly how these things work so that they can use them in the military.
They're not supposed to, but it does happen.
Shout out Area 51.
After a few years, I was
out
called
Alex
to an
Miller.
office, and there was a man in a plaid shirt and kind of a tweed jacket that professors wear. He asked me, do you have any idea about what we actually do here?
Oh no. Just say no and move on.
To be honest,
He doesn't.
I didn't. I knew that there were many parts of the facility
guy's
I couldn't
oblivious.
enter. I
He looks
imagined
good,
that
though.
down a
I
maze
like his
of
beard.
corridors were weapons
Yeah, it's
being
pretty
built,
cool.
or prisoners being interrogated. But I had no idea about the anomalies.
He must know.
How could I? Before I was told anything, I had to sign a bunch of forms. There were so many I thought I'd get to find out who really killed JFK. And while they didn't come out and say it, what I inferred was that if I ever talk about what happens at the facility to someone outside the facility, well, let's just say it's not the kind of thing they'd spell out on a piece of paper,
It's
but
very
it involves
secretive.
padded cells and rusty tools. I wasn't scared though. I was part of something big.
Would you guys sign that?
Yes. Yes, I would.
I would definitely sign it, dude, because then you get to learn about the SCPs, which is like one of the greatest phenomena.
I wouldn't sign
of
it.
the
I would just
world.
leave. As soon as I heard the words SCP, I know. I don't want to hear anything about it because I know it's too dangerous.
They're not saying it's an SCP facility. They never are marked as SCP facilities. Only the people that work there know that it's that. They're always under disguise.
Look at my screen right now, Jack. What does it say? First letter.
I don't know. What?
On the screen right now, what is it?
Secret?
What's the first letter?
S?
What's the third letter?
C.
And what do I have to do right now?
P? Guys, we're gonna take 5.
He should have known.
Something secret. And I loved it. So I signed my life away with no
terrible
hesitation. Soon after, I was introduced to my first anomaly, the safe class, of course. They took me to an observation room, and from that room I could see into another room with a sign on the wall that read SCP-067. I just stood there,
Okay,
waiting
that's
for
not
something
gonna
to
be a
happen.
harmful
When
SCP.
in walked another guy in a white lab coat.
Oh, that might be
Welcome
like
to
the
your
baby
first
of
anomaly, he said.
SCP-167.
Is it okay if I hook you up to this heart monitor? We want to gauge your reaction to what you see. All I can see, I told them, is an empty room with a table and what looks like a pen on top of some papers.
So I'm pretty sure that's like a pen SCP. I've read about this one. Anybody that holds the pen, it like makes them write about their life. Like they write a full biography right then and there as soon as they touch the pen.
Oh.
Wait, so the pen is the SCP?
Yeah, the pen itself is the SCP.
Whoa.
There's a lot of weird SCPs that like aren't monsters, like Shy Guy or like Slender Man. Like a lot of them are like basic objects like that.
Yeah,
like
that's a cool
candy. There's a room that's an SCP. Like there's some weird ones too.
I could get talked into eating candy very easily.
Correct, he said, half smiling, as if I was some kind of idiot. That's SCP-067. I thought about telling him that if I needed years of training before I could see a pen, that I probably should have taken that fast food job.
Right there, here at
Shift
SCP, you
manager.
should have ran.
Then they brought a young chimpanzee into the room.
Oh, it's
small
Adam.
enough to be harmless. One of the guys forced a pen into the scared chimp's hand, and something strange happened. It started scribbling. Nonsense at first, but suddenly it was sketching and drawing faster and faster. I could
That's
catch
amazing.
glimpses
What?
of words and images. By the time it dragged it out, it was flailing around like it was
monkey did it?
possessed. That pen has power, said the man in the lab coat. A power whose source or origin we don't fully understand. That's why we're here. That's why you are
so
here.
shocked.
One of the guys in the other room held the chimp's drawing up to the window. It was a perfect sketch of the Tower of London, intricate and brilliant.
really?
Above the sketch was the title Tower of London, Tudor period, circa
probably where he was
1541.
born.
The year Margaret Pole,
1500s?
the Countess of
That monkey's
Salisbury,
gotta be 700
lost her
years
head
old.
on the chopping block. Underneath that, the chimp had written, "Pity, she was no traitor. Take it from me. I
Maybe
was
it's the
there."
biography of
They
somebody
didn't
else.
need to look at the
from
heart rate
1500s.
monitor to see that I was shocked.
That heart rate's booming
That was
right
far from the only anomaly I'd come into contact with, and I must have been doing something right.
That's only
because
the
in
pen.
time, I went from level 1 to 2 to level 3 security
no.
clearance. And that's
I'm
what
pretty sure once you hit level 3 security clearance, you get access to the Keter class SCPs, which are like the deadly SCPs that you don't want to even get close to. So he has no idea what he signed up for.
And that's when they made me a containment specialist. I won't bore you with all the details, but as you can guess, I dealt with the
not good.
containment of anomalies. A lot of my time was spent looking through small windows and cell doors, making sure that whatever was inside was still inside and still in one piece. Other times I worked with field agents when anomalies were brought in, a transition period that the arrested freaks didn't much like.
Wait, so what's his job now? He started off as a janitor, now he's just like the test dummy? They talked him into that so easily.
Yeah, they literally made it look like he was gonna have some sort of like new job title. He was gonna be like cool, better paid, but literally, yeah, he's just gonna go in with the SCPs.
I think they lured him in with like one of the best ones. The pen one is awesome. It gives him extra smart abilities.
And it's safe, ultimately.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna get hurt by that. So he thought that the SCPs were like good. He thought that I'm not gonna get hurt by these.
Then they're gonna boom, sneak attack with the SCP-173.
Sculpture's gonna come up to him and go snap his neck.
There was one certain anomaly, though, that I was tasked to oversee on many
This is
occasions.
pretty sad.
I like to think of it as my
What
pet,
do you mean? Look, he's smiling.
but in hindsight,
Oh,
I
wait, yo.
was its pet. This was SCP
Oh,
Here we go,
already?
boys.
73, something that was in what we call the Euclid class.
This is where his life's gonna change
Classification
forever.
meaning that we don't fully understand it, but know it is very dangerous.
Don't go in.
We know it's intelligent. We know it's unpredictable. And
that-
we know
that's the Statue of
it will
Adam?
kill.
Jack.
And for that reason,
Not
there's
me.
people
That
tasked
does
with
look like
containing
Jack,
it and
you're
keeping an
right.
eye on it at all times.
Adam, you have the most biggest head I've ever seen.
At first
No.
glance, you wouldn't guess
Oh my-
just how dangerous
Everyone close your eyes.
173 is. You wouldn't think it's incredibly intelligent. In fact, you'd think the opposite. That's because it's more or less a walking slab of concrete and rebar with stunted limbs and traces of spray paint that give the impression of a dopey face. We have to enter its cell twice a week for cleaning duties. It leaves a disgusting, foul-smelling liquid on the floor.
Dude, it's
A reddish-brown
constantly peeing.
substance that I can only describe as a mix of blood
Wow,
and
this
waste
is a mix of
products.
you two.
Where that stuff comes from has remained a mystery since we first contained it in 1993.
How'd they capture
when Alec
this
was
thing?
born.
Going into the cell was always a three-man job because, and this is maybe the weirdest part about 173, it can't move if human eyes are watching it. That's why you need at least 2 people watching it at all times. If you were in the room watching 173 by yourself and blinked, you'd be dead before
Yep.
your eyes
Even if
opened.
you just blink?
Yeah, dude, you can't be by yourself. And if even like, let's say 10 people are in there at the same time, if they all blink at the same time, 3 of them are gonna die.
How do they plan that? Did they just not blink?
They probably, yeah, don't blink, or they time their blink. So they're like, all right, you blink, all right, I'll blink. You blink, I'll blink. You want to try?
Sure.
All right, ready? All right, I'm gonna close my eyes. You tell me when to open them.
I'm about to blink already.
Tell me when.
Close.
Wait,
Wait, who closed?
Did we? Oh my gosh! I think you already killed us.
I think we
I
would
was
have
saying
died.
I'm closing.
Wait, but you,
just
I
said
said when you-
close.
I
Everyone
told you
close
to
their
tell me
eyes.
what to do.
Why would I tell you what to do? You're in person.
This
Okay,
is
now
why
actually-
you're not gonna ever get hired.
This is the real strategy. You just take your eyelids open so you can't blink.
All right, I'll try. Let's see.
All right, Jack will hold that for the rest of the video.
Perfect.
We don't know how it moves that fast, but in that fraction
Comment
of a
down below if I
second,
blink. I
your
really
neck
can't
is
tell.
snapped
I
so
wanna
hard
blink.
it's almost like being decapitated.
Jack, if you blink, we're all dead.
I've seen the videos to prove it. All it took was a sneeze. He wasn't even finished getting the
just
rest of
sneezed
the
and then
chew out
died.
when there was a flash, and his partner was left lying.
Ah!
His head
I
twisted
gotta
around in that
blink!
direction. So, you can understand why we now require 3 men for any time we must enter 173's cell. Then,
I would have
a
20
few
people
months
watching
ago,
that.
I was told that a long process would begin to train and re-educate
I think Jack's
some
going
future
down.
class
No, he
teams.
blinked. We're dead.
He's
These
like,
are mostly
Ah,
prisoners
shoot.
with lifelong
Sorry, guys, I
sentences,
tried.
or those we've taken from death row and given a new lease on life. We were apparently understaffed, so why not employ these men whose lives had pretty much ended anyway? That was the rationale, or at least that's what they told me. I was told to train them on their new job, mopping up 173's mess, so that
Would you guys do that? Like, let's say you committed a crime or something and like you stole bread and then you were given the death penalty. Would you guys instead go to the SCP facility?
Then I would
if they
try
give you the option.
I would try and talk to the SCPs into teaming up with me. Then I would take the concrete dude. Then I'd run out of the cell with him and throw him at everybody, and then he'd kill everybody. I'd look away for a second. He'd kill everybody, and then I'd look back.
but you would die if you look away.
No, we made a truce. Remember? I whispered in his ear and I talked to him nice.
the
I'd be fine
containment
if he killed me.
specialists could focus on more important tasks. They hadn't been through the
It's a good way to
training I
go.
had,
Quick.
seen what I had seen. But after showing them the video of 173 nearly taking off a man's head, they were more than willing to
Oh, they have
follow
video
the
of it.
rules. They understood not to blink or turn away or sneeze. and that any lapse in focus could lead
Hey,
to
they did
that
your
guy-
thing.
They
So
were
I
doing
started
the
to show
thing.
them the
It
ropes.
doesn't work.
So we moved
It doesn't
to-
work.
Yeah, that's the guy that
Oh,
died.
that guy
Jack, it's not
is
working. What
deader
we're
than a
doing.
brick.
173 was always sitting in the corner of a cell.
He looks
no
so happy.
expression on that crude face. But when we walked
Look
in its
at me,
cell, I
guys.
got the feeling it knew something had changed. I felt almost as if it was communicating with me,
Oh,
but I couldn't tell what it was trying to say.
Here we go.
Blink.
Then it happened.
Here we go. Here we go.
It was a Tuesday afternoon, 3 days from the last time we cleaned. As usual,
It's
173
pooping.
covered
Adam's
the
baby
floor
pooped
with that
himself.
Horrible liquid. We headed in to clean. My new team alert as always, and some of them cleaned while others kept their eyes focused on the thing in the corner. Things were going smoothly when
did
we
it
heard
say?
a noise I knew very well. It was the sound of the cell door locking. Someone must have screwed up. Hey guys, we're locked in here.
Nah.
I shouted through the intercom. Nothing.
They did it on purpose.
Guys, the
definitely
damn
did it on
door is
purpose.
locked.
The SCP was trying to warn them.
Nothing. I lost it a bit. Open the door, will you?
If the lights go out, they're dead.
My team looked at
Oh,
me.
you're right.
The ones not on eye contact duty, that is. As if I should know what to do. Hoping that this had happened before and that there was some kind of standard plan to deal with it. There wasn't.
It looks like
We
they're
were
all
always
about to be.
observed when in the room, and I knew that a technician couldn't accidentally lock the door. It was impossible. There were protocols. Someone had done this on purpose.
I know it. I
The
know
four
it.
of us sat in the corner of the room as far from 173
That's
as possible.
so messed up.
It's definitely the guy with the red hair. I called it from the beginning. I called it.
You can never trust those type of guys. Never.
Trust that type of guy. He
They are
looked
handsome,
too
though.
clean. He was too
They
clean.
do look good.
There's something shady about him. You need a little.
He's probably
dirt on you
really
to make
tall
you
and strong.
trustworthy.
Our eyes locked on it. It didn't move an inch as usual.
What happens when I have to go to
Stood,
sleep?
staring at the wall as
They
it
gotta take
always
shifts.
did.
They can't, Adam. They can't.
We stayed awake through the night, talking a little, holding on to the slim hope that something had gone wrong. But as night turned to day again, we all began to lose hope. We weren't sent here to clean. We
That's
were
crazy.
a test.
Maybe this is not a test for the SCP, but it's a test of humans to see like what they will go through in order to survive, you know?
That is the craziest thing ever. Why would they do that?
That's what I'm saying. They're like,
People.
how far will humans go to survive? Will they stay up weeks, months, you know?
I would
Put them on
try
an
to survive
island
in
and give
the
them
face.
nothing. That's all you gotta do. Why you gotta put them in with some crazy, mystical, whimsical creature?
Why haven't they tried to like smack it with a chair or something? They haven't even tried to take it out.
Right, and they haven't even
point.
tried your strategy of befriending it. They,
Yes,
they need
exactly.
to, I don't know, go like give it a hug or something.
I would have every single person circle it and start peeing to show that we're allies.
Yeah, and did they taste the pee? Not even a single time. What if it powers them up, you know?
True, maybe it's actually chocolate that is pooping out for everyone.
There's no way to find out unless you taste it.
Test. Totally expendable.
Says the guy who eats
Lab
dirt.
rats. But I wouldn't go down without a fight. We couldn't just stay up forever. That was a death sentence. I suggested that 2 of us stand, 1 sit and rest, and 1 get some sleep. We'd take shifts. A couple hours on, a couple hours off. Maybe
can't
we
they
could
all
show
sit?
that we wouldn't give up.
See, look,
They'd have
they're
time to
watching.
realize what they were doing was
People are
insane.
watching the
Call
other
off the
people.
test and come free us. We made it through a couple of shifts like this, and it seemed like we'd actually be able to make it another day or two when everything went wrong.
Oh no.
It was my turn to sit and rest when I heard the worst possible noise. Snoring. The con next to me was sleeping quietly, so it must be one of the standers. I glanced over for just a split second and saw both of them.
Why would he
leaning
glance
against
over?
the cell wall, dozing. At the same time, I saw the flash. Crack, snap, pop.
Oh, GG's.
One after another.
Wow.
Their necks were snapped.
Oh my
I'm not sure
God.
how it
You
happened,
saw it?
but I was standing again, staring at 173, who was now in the corner. Dead bodies with their heads twisted around
he's by
piled
himself.
up in front of it.
That's all
I
it's
couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't stare at this thing forever. I felt myself giving up. I lowered my head to the ground and then finally broke my gaze, ready to die. And then
What?
It turns out to be his father.
nothing happened. I slowly raised my head back.
my gosh.
up, and there it was.
He likes
Its
him.
hideous face inches away from mine. It was then that I understood what we'd been containing, what we'd underestimated. I felt it again, like it was telling me something.
It's an alien.
It was telling me to close my eyes,
What?
to sleep. So I did.
He's eating
But
their
as
bodies.
my eyes closed, I didn't see darkness.
Huh?
I saw 173, or something like it, but not
What the
in
heck?
the cell. I saw it outside, in the world,
Why?
standing over children sleeping in their beds,
But why?
watching.
What the?
I saw them hiding in the shadows, staring out at passersby.
Wait, There's more than
I
one?
realized they weren't watching, waiting to pounce.
They were protecting the kids.
What-
Ready?
what-
Watch.
How many are there?
No, They were hiding. My eyes popped open as the door opened and in rushed 6 security personnel. They took me outside, jabbed my leg with a syringe, injecting me with something as the world faded.
He's about to turn to an
away.
SCP.
Incident report.
You think so?
Yeah.
Time and date redacted. Following the experimental forced interaction with Euclid class anomaly SCP-173, subject has ceased responding to external stimuli and appears to have taken on the traits and behaviors of the anomaly. Subject now spends entire day sitting in corner of cell staring at the wall.
He became one of
Staff are
them.
advised to proceed with caution
I
when
told
dealing
you!
with subject, as the only behavior they engage in is an attempt to strangle anyone who enters the cell. No treatments have shown any effectiveness, and subject will unfortunately require incarceration.
So he got
likely
infected
forever.
with this
report has been read and
sculpture
approved
virus.
by.
So they're doing that on purpose. The lab people are trying to turn more people into that SCP.
Maybe it was the military thing you were saying, Alec.
Oh
Maybe
my
you were
God.
They're
right.
trying to get an army of those SCPs.
Wow.
SCPs are just people.
Oh my god.
And they have like a certain gene or something that they all connect, but there's only, it's like 1 out of every 5 probably.
Oh.
That was insane. Out of all the SCPs, which one do you guys think is the strongest?
It's gotta be Bigfoot.
I think it's Shy Guy.
Those are pretty good guesses, but in today's video, we are going to be learning about the strongest SCP to ever exist.
Oh boy. Should I be scared?
If
Yes.
he breathes, the bear will see him.
Don't breathe.
Lying flat on his stomach, the boy has no choice but to watch as the hulking brute eats his father before his very eyes. Lying in the thicket just a few trees away, the boy knows that any small movement he makes could prove fatal. A bear this large, hunting for its hibernation, will have no issue chasing him down in a split second.
Are you trying to tell me the SCP right now is a bear?
No, Adam. It is
it's
way
stronger?
scarier than that bear.
I am about to poop myself right now from just this bear.
Guys, I breathe. Does that mean I die?
No, it's gonna be okay, but hold your breath in 3, 2, 1.
Look at the bear's eyes.
And doing exactly what he told his father.
That's his dad.
The boy is utterly powerless. All he can do is stay deathly still and watch. They'd found the tracks too late.
Okay.
On the way
guys
back
are
to
good.
camp, they'd been following the
Yeah.
wooded cliff that lines the ocean's edge. Bows and salmon slung over their shoulders. They'd been so proud of their catch and the prospect of bringing it back to the tribe that they hadn't kept their wits about them.
Guys,
Oh, they always gotta set a high alert.
nobody built an emotional connection to the dad. We all know he's about to die, all right? I don't
We
want
do.
I don't want to see anyone
Yeah.
crying.
And it also seems like this is taking place way further in the past. You know, they look like cavemen. So there's that.
So this SCP's been around for a hot minute.
Seems like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
By the time they'd
Good
seen the
observation.
enormous prints in the dirt, the sound of lumbering footsteps were already echoing through the trees behind them. The boy's bow is too far out of reach. He dropped it when his father pushed him into the thicket. He's got the knife hanging at his side, but he doubts it's long enough to even get through the bear's fatty hide. In contrast, the only thing protecting him from its bite is the leather hide slung across his shoulders and a woven garment from the tribe's elders. One slash of the bear's claw, and he'd be... A
Oh my
breeze
gosh,
ruffles
that's
his hair.
terrifying.
The boy's eyes widen in horror. That wind hadn't come from in front of him, but from behind.
Hey, yo. Oh my gosh.
the heck?
Imagine
Wait.
if you looked behind you and you just saw this thing.
Wow.
Yeah, bears are actually really mean. So if you guys ever see a bear in public, do not approach it.
What are you
And
supposed
don't
to do
run
then?
either, because they can run like 40 miles an hour.
So
True.
what do you do?
And they can climb trees.
You just give it
Just
whatever
don't
it
want-
wants.
Get dirt blocks and like build a shelter.
No, what you do is you don't move and you say, wait, what do you say?
Oh gosh, we're all dead. We're all dead.
I don't know.
This is not. Is that what you're gonna tell the bear? Wait, give me a second. I forget.
Wait, yeah, hold on, bear, give me a second. Shoo, bear, shoo! Shoo, bear, shoo! That's what you're supposed to do.
Alex
Definitely is
getting
gonna
eaten
get
first.
eaten by the bear.
That's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do, guys.
The only way that you don't get eaten by the bear is if you trip your other friend like Alec and then you just run and
Yeah.
let him get
We'll
eaten.
let
Guys,
Alec
please don't trip
scream
me.
at the bear. Jack and I will run.
Yeah, shoo! Ah!
Idiot.
Following his scent, his fear, directly towards the bear's nostrils.
Dude,
The
that
boy
breath's probably
plants his muddy
stanky.
palms into the dirt, staring at the animal. Its nostril twitches
throw dirt in its eye.
and twitches again. It half turns its head, sniffing the air. Maybe it won't bother with him. The bear's turning back to its meal already. The boy lets
no.
out a sigh of relief, and a twig snaps.
Oh
Bear
no.
snarls and
Oh,
whips
no.
its head around. For a second,
no.
the two of them
Jeez.
lock eyes, predator and prey. Then the boy takes off running. Fast as he can.
Alec
Run,
says that's a
boys!
no-no.
He's
burns
not
and
fast
nettles
enough.
whipping at his shins. He fumbles the knife out of its sheath and slings the water
Oh,
skin
he has
off
a
his
knife.
shoulder,
Okay, he can take
throwing
the
it
bear.
wildly behind him.
What is
He
that
doesn't
gonna
know
do?
if he hit the bear. He doesn't have time to turn around and see. It's going to be on him in an instant. Up ahead, he
Is he
sees
wearing
sunlight.
pants?
Wait, why would he try to hit the bear with the water bottle? At best, he just gave the bear hydration.
I think he was maybe thinking maybe he was playing like Mario Kart and he thought like maybe the bear would slip on it or something, or like maybe, I don't know. Yeah, like take some of the attention away from him and he would investigate the water bottle instead of chasing the boy. That's what I would do if I was a bear.
It's streaming through the thick trees, the cliff edge. If he can just get to
Oh,
that,
no.
maybe he can climb down and... No, there's no time. Besides,
Maybe he can use the knife
bears
as a
are better
parachute.
climbers, better swimmers, better runners.
What?
All the boy can hope for is that he's a better jumper. Him and the boys from the tribe have leapt off plenty of cliffs along the shore.
Thought that was
Never
way
these
deeper.
ones. There are too many rocks, too many shallows.
What?
But the thundering of 4 enormous paws behind him.
He's gotta
is looming
jump.
Larger
You gotta
and
jump.
larger. He can almost feel the bear's hot breath on the back of his neck. There's nothing for it. Here goes. The trees clear, the sun blasts his skin, a claw slashes at his back, and the boy launches himself into the air.
Okay, do you think, guys, that this is gonna turn into the SCP? This guy, this little boy.
No.
Pre-predictions.
No, I don't think that the guy is an SCP. It's a reptile.
Yeah,
Adam.
but
This
we've
is
seen in
clearly a
previous
human.
videos that sometimes humans turn into SCPs.
I think that this guy's gonna dive into the water and then the bear isn't going to jump after him and then the hard to destroy reptile is gonna come out of the water like God freaking Zilla and then go fight off the bear.
Oh. No, I think
I
this
like that.
little boy's gonna grow something out of somewhere, and he's gonna be the strongest thing to ever exist.
Or
and then
maybe
he's
when
gonna
he
come
jumps
back and avenge his
down,
dad.
Maybe he jumps down and maybe he teams up with it. I don't think he's gonna turn into it. How could he?
He's going to, and then he's gonna destroy the bear like his brother bear.
I guess we'll see.
The wind carries him, the weightlessness
Use
of
the knife as a
wheeling his
parachute.
arms and legs through the empty sky.
How is a knife a
Almost enough to
parachute?
make him laugh with joy.
You don't understand
Until
physics.
the boy looks down. The cliff is
looks like the
higher,
Wolverine.
much higher than he'd realized. His momentum carries his torso forwards.
Don't
into a
belly
tumble.
flop.
He's not going.
You're supposed to
land
pencil
straight.
dive. Pencil
He can see
dive.
jagged rocks
Oh,
everywhere beneath
I don't
him.
think a pencil dive's gonna
Boy
work there,
closes his
Alec.
eyes,
No.
crashes into the sea.
Okay, he's.
Oh, he's good. He's
The air
good.
is slammed out of
He's
his lungs.
good.
His knee hits
I don't know if
something
he's
hard
good.
and sharp in the water.
Ow.
The swell
Ooh,
throws
that's
him
the
away
worst.
from the shore and
Hopefully he
pulls
didn't tear
him
an
deep.
He
ACL.
can still swim.
Without
He can
air
still
in
swim.
his chest, he can't float. Kicking hard as
Swim
he
up
can,
there, dummy!
The boy swims upwards,
He's injured.
eyes still screwed shut. His face bashes into a sandy rock. No,
Oh,
it's
no.
Which way is it? Which way should he swim? The ocean current rolls him over and over. Darkness
This
fills
dude's
his
dead.
mind.
Imagine
But his
if the
feet
bear
find
jumps.
a hard surface.
That'd be so
He pushes
funny.
against it, launching himself through the water, kicking as hard as he can. The darkness fades. Light. The boy's head breaches the water, and he's
Professional tip, if you're ever in that situation where you can't see up and down of which way to swim, you're supposed to blow out a little bit of bubbles and feel which way the bubbles are going, because bubbles always go upward. Just saying. You
Thanks,
do a little-
Al.
Noted.
Okay, so I shoo away the bear and then I start blowing bubbles at it and then I'll
I'm
live.
just saying. It might save your life or somebody's life someday. So I'm just putting it
were
out
you
there.
a Boy Scout at some point? You know how to.
All you gotta,
know how to
I'm
stay
just
away
trying to
from
save
bears?
one life at a time. Saving one life at a time.
No, Alec watches Joe Rogan, so he actually learns a lot from that.
Exactly.
But he splutters for air, rubbing the water out of his eyes. He looks around.
Oh, he's good. He's
wildly.
good.
No,
The
he
sea
turned
has
into an
carried him
SCP.
away from the cliff and out into open water.
Oh, the
lifting
riptide
and
took him
dropping
way out.
feet
Oh
away,
my gosh,
carrying
this guy
him
just
Blow
getting
bubbles!
wrecked.
Blow bubbles!
He's gonna
Blow
get stuck
bubbles!
here for probably like 40
Blow
years,
bubbles,
and
you
then
fool!
turn
He's
into
just
an
getting
SCP.
wrecked over and over.
Wait,
No
whoa,
way!
whoa,
It's
yo,
going
that bear is
down.
God, it's dirty.
What kind of
The boy's
bear is
stomach
this?
turns. It reaches
my
the bottom of the
gosh.
cliff and sees him there in the water.
Let him live, bear.
Why
God
is the
dang.
bear like Liam
He roars
Neeson?
at an almighty volume,
Let him
deafening
go.
the boy over the sound of the waters. Even
Bears
from
can
this
swim
distance,
really, really
the
well.
animal looks impossibly large. It dwarfs
Something
the
wrong with
boulders
that
that
bear.
line the water's edge. It slips into the water, barely making a
No.
ripple.
That's so
No
messed
way
up.
it goes after
Going
him.
straight for him. The
This is
bear
the unluckiest
covering
guy
the distance
ever.
So fast, he only has seconds left.
Blow bubbles! Blow
I didn't
bubbles!
realize this
To
could
keep
get
himself
worse.
afloat, the boy knows he'll never be able to outswim this creature. Instead,
You gotta go under.
he takes a deep breath and looks up at the woods, remembering all of the happy moments he'd spent in there with his father.
Aww.
The current swells beneath the
dad
boy
died.
and almost throws him out of the water. An enormous shadow flies through the depth beneath him.
I knew it!
It couldn't be. Whatever it is, the shadow is
Is it a
swimming
Loch Ness
straight
monster?
at the advancing bear.
Oh, Adam.
So
Oh my God.
fixated on its prey,
This
the bear doesn't even
is
notice what's approaching.
SCP
until it's too late.
682.
The ocean
can't be.
explodes. A blast of water as tall as the cliffs themselves shoots up into the air
Jack,
and
you're
showers
crazy.
the boy's
Whoa!
head. Somewhere in the midst of the spray, a monster erupts.
How big do you think that thing's about to be?
It's gonna be massive.
It's actually not that big. You know, you would think it's like Godzilla level size, but no, it's not. It's like a little compact Godzilla.
I think it's
Wait,
gonna
it
be
looks like
30
it has
feet.
hair. It looks like it has. Maybe this used to be a person. I think you might have been right, Adam.
Seems like we were both right. This could be his dad.
Blow bubbles at him.
No, that was dumb. Maybe it's his grandpa.
From the depths, Snapping its jaw around the bear, it lifts the animal into the
Yeah,
air
that's what
and
you
throws
get.
it against the cliff.
Oh, wow.
The impact is
Holy
so strong,
smokes, it's so strong.
small
Isn't a bear
landslide
2
follows
tons?
the bear's rolling body as it tumbles back towards the water. But the boy has eyes only for the monster
Bears are
emerging
not 2
from
tons.
the sea.
Did you just say that?
Crawling up the rocks with one gnarled
Ew.
foot after another, the boy can
Sounds
hardly
like a
make sense
Pokemon.
of what he's looking at.
That thing is so
It
creepy.
seems to have some kind of scaly hide, harder than the rocks surrounding it. A wave
That would
crashes
be
against the
even
monster
scarier
as it
now.
leers over the bear and sinks its teeth into the animal's hide. Unable to look away, the boy kicks out and starts swimming.
Swim!
away
Now's
up
your
the
chance,
coast.
little boy.
Swim!
Only once he's a long way around the bay does he
Is this the
dare
origin
to clamber
stories of
out
Tarzan?
and back onto land. That night, once the rest of the tribe have gone to sleep, the boy can't help but lie wide awake in his tent. Without his father here, it's not the
Where's
same.
mommy?
Quietly rolling up the
Aww.
hide doorway, the boy slips out into the night. They're camped by a small cave with beautiful smooth walls inside. They say it's the cave of their ancestors, the place where all life started. The fire in the cave has to always burn. Fortunately for him, the cave is empty. The boy stares up at the wall in wonder. Finger drawings of animals, hunters, mothers, shamans, gods, and forests fill almost every part of it. Only one space remains in the corner, a finger painting of the rocky cliffs with the swelling sea beneath. Dipping his finger into the paint, the boy sits by the wall and starts to paint. A terrible monster crawling out of the sea, with a scaly hide stronger
Kind
than
of looks
any
like a
rock.
crocodile.
So I guess that's probably the first sighting of SCP-682, also known as the hard-to-destroy reptile. That was probably the first time anybody in human existence ever saw that thing lurking about in the entire world. And I know you guys are thinking like, oh my gosh, that thing was strong. But let me tell you, that's not even his best ability, bro. As soon as you watch the rest of the video, you're gonna have nightmares about this thing.
He unlocks new abilities?
Yes.
Is he gonna come after the little boy?
No, he doesn't like little boys.
That's it. You know that from just some finger painting.
Okay, now we're in modern
The
day.
archaeologist turns to the group of researchers surrounding him in the cave. UV lights are set up all along the walls, with the blue and violet shapes revealed all across the stonework. The archaeologist can't help but empathize
this is the
with
boy all grown up
spiritualism
now,
of
I
their
see.
long-forgotten ancestors who'd lived in these caves thousands of years ago.
No, Adam.
Adam, you are actually so dumb. This, you know, like this is like real life. Like people study like hieroglyphs and stuff and try to figure out like what the people went through way back in the day.
Why would they be waving and rowing? I don't understand.
Why would they be hooing and whatting?
You said high and row.
Ancient caveman technology, Adam. They used to draw inside of caves.
Yeah, they used to make like drawings of what they saw, of like tigers and mammoths and that sort of stuff.
There were, Adam, do you know how to
Aliens?
paint? The Egyptians actually drew up the aliens, yes.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm back in. I think I get what you guys are saying.
The
Drawing.
professor was the one who asked the question. A cold woman, standing well over 6 feet tall with a crop of fiery ginger hair. To him, she seemed less of a scientist,
Come
more of a
on,
military
don't
leader.
laugh at that. What is
What does
funny?
he know?
What is funny?
It's
What is
Alec,
funny,
though.
Why
Adam?
is it fiery ginger?
What is so funny?
Why'd they have to go
She has
into
a fiery
detail about her
personality.
hair?
Nothing funny about
Probably.
that. Nothing funny about that. Let's move on.
Walk with me,
She's very
she
kind-hearted.
says and leads him out of the cave. Personnel fills the surrounding area. Most of them
Jeez,
are
look at
armed.
those P90s.
Cranes lift huge sheets of reinforced lead plating into place. Several mysterious vats line the edge of the forest, each adorned with more warning and hazard signs than you'd see in a nuclear power station. The two of them have to pause for a moment as 3 tanks roll past them.
What's
Oh
the
my
government
gosh, they have
do?
so much
Silence.
artillery.
They're turning that whole
You know the
area
reason I
into
started
Area
all my
51.
research in the first place? Did I ever tell you that story? Every early civilization in the world, whether it's ancient China, Mesopotamia, South America, Northern Europe, all these cultures, you take a look at their mythology and what do you find? The professor ignores him, instead choosing to bark orders at a group of agents talking over coffee. They all immediately dump their drinks and get back to work. What one thing do they all talk about, even though it never existed?
Is it this
Aliens.
SCP? The SCP could kind of be an alien. Some of the SCPs do remind me of like different aliens that, you know, maybe they came from Earth, but maybe not.
Yes, Jack. Who runs the world?
Girls?
SCPs.
Oh, SCP.
Dragons.
We all just had different
All
answers.
these disparate people with no contact with one another, all of them still draw pictures of dragons. The professor stops
dragons.
walking at the
Okay.
edge of the cliff. The pair of them stand there, surveying
Dragons
the
were never
vast
real.
ocean
Hey, that's where he
stretching out in
jumped.
front of
That's where the
them.
kid jumped. That's the
I
same
have a
spot.
feeling
And
that
workers
fiery
rush around
hair
behind
girl's
them.
about to push him.
After a long pause, the professor asks him to proceed. In ancient Hebrew text, when they talk about God creating the world in 7 days, what happens on day 5? The professor flicks the hair out of her eyes and replies curtly, God created fish in the sea and birds in the sky. Well, not exactly. Look at the original Hebrew. He created all of the fish that teem in the sea, sure, but he also created Leviathan, a serpent-like monster from the depths, as old as the world
Really?
itself.
That's in the book.
You think that's what we're dealing with? Maybe. Or something worse.
Oh my gosh.
By nightfall,
It's way
preparations
worse,
are
Lloyd.
operational.
Leviathan is
Enormous
way-
floodlights switch
How's
on
that
one
worse than
after
the
another,
Leviathan?
illuminating an
Isn't that
enormous
huge?
steel box with an open lid at
Way
the top,
worse.
surrounded by
not
armed
even that
agents,
tall.
huge net launchers, and several tanks. It all seems a bit
not worse.
excessive as far as the archaeologist is concerned. He isn't officially still supposed to be here, but in all the scramble for the Foundation to get the capture site ready, no one noticed that he had stuck around.
This guy's shady.
From the viewing
I don't like
platform
him.
several hundred meters away, he has to watch it all unfold through a pair of binoculars. Out above the water, suspended from one of the cranes, is an elephant carcass. The professor told him that the Foundation had even marinated it for extra flavor. He had only been recruited
my
into this
gosh,
project a
that's
couple of
brutal.
months ago.
A whole
But from what
elephant?
he could tell, it's been an ongoing priority for the Foundation for
Wait, Jack, I thought you said this thing's not that big. How's it gonna eat that whole elephant?
Adam, I don't want to spoil the rest of the movie for you.
Oh, wait, he was just a baby. That was
Can't
just a
say
baby
anything. I don't
SCP-682.
wanna- I don't want to tell you, Adam.
Wait,
I
we
can't
didn't
tell
see the
you.
adult. Oh my gosh, it's about to get insane. Okay,
several
I'm
years
locked.
now. The scale of the operation of just setting up at this site is already mind-boggling, but they've been chasing up leads like this for years now. Arriving at scenes, they suspect this creature has been sighted in the past and setting up traps for it. He was only brought in out of desperation. The Foundation had exhausted all recent hunting grounds and was trying to cast the net even wider. He'd just been quietly working on his university
wonder
research
what
paper
they're gonna
about
use this
ancient
weapon
reptile
for.
drawings when the agents had let
creature.
themselves into his office. But staring through his binoculars now, the archaeologist knows there's no chance of this operation actually working. They have floodlights, for crying out loud. No intelligent predator would come anywhere near that elephant carcass. Movement. Not in the waters or any of the lit up areas. No, there's something in the forest line, just behind a group of researchers.
Ooh, there it is.
He
That's
gets
out of there.
instinctively
Get the
for his
flip out of there.
walkie-talkie, Then
It's
stops
GG's.
himself. How many times had he got jittery before and reported something preemptively? The agents already don't take him seriously as it is. He can't be jumping at shadows. But there it is again, a shape moving
is how
fast
every
through
horror
the
movie
trees.
starts.
He scans the binoculars this way and that, trying to find it. Just a group of researchers there, some agents there, supply crates, researchers, agents. Wait, weren't there more of them a second ago?
He's not gonna tell anybody?
He looks closer. Someone's gone missing. He clicks on the radio. South Lookout Team, report in. Nothing. South Lookout Team?
Oh gosh.
A sickening fury
gosh.
settled
It's gonna
in
Jack,
his
come
stop
stomach.
behind
smiling.
All those bright
This is the
lights
human
everywhere,
race, Jack.
casting a
What
lot
team are
of
you
dark
on?
shadows.
I'm
He has to do
grimacing.
something fast. Running down from the lookout point, the archaeologist takes off running through the trees to the site. He holds his radio up to his mouth as he goes, trying to get anyone to respond.
At least grab a gun, guy.
The thicket cracks and crunches under his
He's
feet
an
as he tries to make
archaeologist.
his
He
way
doesn't know
through
how
the
to
dark
use
woods,
one.
ignoring the
He pulled
feeling
the
that
trigger.
crawls up his neck of being watched. A boulder blocks his way. The
That's not the
archaeologist
boulder.
grabs
That's not a
onto it
boulder,
with
is
both
it?
hands and hauls himself on top of it, stopping for a moment to catch his breath.
Just run around it,
From
dummy.
here, he can see the floodlit capture site. The tanks and cranes still sit rumbling,
elephant's
ready
gone.
to go at a moment's notice. But he can't see any ground crew anymore. He switches
Where's
the
the
radio
elephant?
to the open channel and calls out for anyone to respond. The professor's voice crackles back at him.
What are you still doing here? This is a highly dangerous operation that you don't have clearance for.
He yells at her to cancel it. They need to evacuate the site immediately. It's compromised. She laughs derisively and cuts off the channel.
No, you
She
dummy.
has to believe him. People are dying. More of them will if she doesn't. The archaeologist whispers to himself in the darkness. It's no monster. It's just an innocent creature.
I need to see this
Thing
thing
with
now.
a power you don't understand. It's strange. For a moment, he swears he almost hears a voice whispering something back to him in the woods. I love you. When he looks around, he's all on his own.
Subscribe.
He has to keep moving. The creature could be anywhere. Hopping off the jagged boulder, the archaeologist takes off running through the forest once
He's
more,
not going very
looking over
fast.
his shoulder every few steps. The light
That's
This
must
would be
have
so
tricks on
scary,
him.
bro.
In
I'm scared of the dark. I don't know
he can't
about
see
you
the boulder
guys.
He was standing on a
I know,
moment
you sleep
ago
with a
anywhere.
nightlight.
Yeah.
He bursts out
Alex
of the tree
sleeps with a
line and
nightlight.
into the clearing right next
Okay.
to the steel box. A ramp leads up to the top of it with
Do
a
not
large
go in that
trap
box.
door
That's where he's
suspended
waiting.
over the open lid. Well, if he wants to be seen and heard, that's where he needs to go. The archaeologist runs up the ramp and waves
Oh my
his
God.
hands wildly
Oh, you
in the
big
air.
fat
about to
dummy.
risk
Tanks
his
all
life.
turn their turrets to
I wonder
aim
if
at
that's
him.
what they were
The crane holding
anticipating.
the
Like they
enormous
wanted
steel
him to
lid
do
for the
this.
enclosure
Yo!
looms menacingly above his head. And there, marching
He's
out
the
onto the
bait!
field, looking absolutely furious, is the professor. Her red hair looks more like a ball of flames right now. We need to evacuate the site now. It's here. She snarls and marches
Wait,
up the
they're
ramp
both
to meet
bait!
him, jabbing a finger in the archaeologist's face. He suddenly realizes how much taller she is. You are not jeopardizing
Oh,
our
gosh.
one
Oh,
chance
gosh.
of catching this thing. Get out of the way, or I will have
He's
you
definitely
detained.
dead.
Besides,
Never mess
what
with the
evidence
flames.
do you have?
That's what I say.
But the archaeologist isn't looking at her. Instead,
Oh.
his eyes stare in
This could
horror
be very
at
bad.
the elephant carcass suspended behind her.
Looks
There
like
was
a
a
whole
huge
bite.
reptilian bite mark taken out of it.
How?
A testing bite.
How has no one
like the ones
noticed?
given
Dude,
by
nobody
sharks.
noticed?
How did
She
no one
turns to
notice?
Follow his gaze.
Maybe
and
there's
all of
nobody
her
left.
rage is washed away in a sickening
Oh
delight.
gosh, she's twisted.
Yeah. A scream from the crane holding the elephant makes them both jump, but by the time they look up at the cabin, all they see is a hulking shadow leaping away
Bruh.
into the darkness.
This was a
How is
bad
that
idea
fast?
from the
Professor
start.
clicks on her
Get
walkie-talkie
out of
and
there
starts
now!
issuing commands. No one responds, except the tank crews. She tries again.
Okay, they have
Radio
a team of
silence.
tanks. I like that.
Now the gravity of the
I
situation
think they're
really
fine.
starts to hit her. Eyes wide with panic, she runs off down the ramp, barking into her radio and leaving the archaeologist
She was just
up here on
smiling
his
5
own.
seconds ago.
Suddenly, under all of these lights, he feels very exposed. It could be anywhere in the shadows. Footsteps, heavy planted footsteps tremor
Is that how
to
you
the
feel when you
ground.
try to go to bed, Alec?
The woods walks
Oh,
the creature. Several
This
meters
is the
long,
monster
back
hiding
from
it
all of its
under your
hunting.
covers.
The beast that would soon be known as SCP-682
Looks like an
slinks
emo.
into view.
Yo!
It looks up at him, standing there on the trap door.
thought it was a
of
water
metal
creature.
box.
What's going on?
It looks like it's almost ready to laugh at how easy this will be. Boom! The tank blast hits the creature square.
Come
in
on,
the
Doesn't
surely
matter.
a tank
Dodge.
can take it on.
Dodge.
Doesn't
Boom.
matter.
Yeah, see, look, the
Wait,
tank
what?
just destroyed it.
Imagine the video's over, just like one tank shot destroys that
No,
thing.
dude, it would take literally a million tank shots to
No
even do
way.
like 1%
A million?
damage.
What?
What are you, some sort of expert? What?
This is basically like Wolverine from X-Men times 25. Like, this thing can regen quickly. It can change its body to any
no,
environment.
no,
If you shot it with a nuke,
No.
it would turn into nuclear waste so that it survived.
I don't
No,
think. I don't
tanks
think
are made out of like titanium and steel. There's no way that it can hurt a tank.
It's
These
not going to touch
tanks
a tank.
are nothing. That is literally like me throwing a little pebble at your face. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
That hurts a lot.
Please don't do that.
I would cry and then I would tattle on
Three
you.
tanks
with my-
open fire one after the other, laying round after round into the colossal reptile, kicking more and more dust into the air.
That's GG's. Bye bye,
Before long,
Crocky.
there's a crater in the
See, look,
ground
it's gone.
so large,
It's literally
it looks
exploded.
Yeah, it
almost
got
like
deleted.
an asteroid hit it. Smoke
Jack,
and
you are
dust
so
filled
dumb.
the
This-
air.
you said this
telling you
SCP was the
it's not
strongest
okay.
ever?
Dumb.
Eyes
You are
filled with
so dumb.
tears. That
Guys, comment
majestic
down below
creature, roaming
what
the
you think
earth
about
long
this
before
SCP.
mankind ever did.
Prove them wrong.
Exterminated, just like that.
GG's.
Cowards. That's what people really are. Cowards. But as the dust clears, a groaning sound echoes around the clearing. The archaeologist shields his
No.
eyes and peers into the crater as
No
best
way.
he can.
That's probably the dad or
There's
something.
nothing there. Boom! He wheels around and almost falls backwards in shock. The SCP is snuck through
Oh,
the
crap. Oh, no
No
way.
way.
stares at the armored bodywork, doing
How
all it
strong
can
are
to
its jaws?
destroy
It's
it.
ripping through the tank.
In a panic,
Yeah,
two of the
dude,
tanks
it
point
could do
toward one
anything.
another and fire.
They just shot each
destroying
other. Okay,
themselves in the process.
who hired this
Creature
military
rounds on the
crew?
remaining
Yeah, those
tank.
guys are
probably
pretty dumb.
panicking.
Hard on the barrel. The tank fires.
It
the round
ate
going
it.
straight
Shot
down
into
the
its belly.
monster's throat
Ate it.
and exploding inside its gut. The backdraft from the blast shoots back through the tank, and a puff of smoke trails out of the hatch at the top.
It
Suddenly,
ate it?
once again,
Yep.
the clearing.
It
is
ate it and then
quiet.
burped it back out at
Turning
it.
back to the archaeologist.
What?
What are we dealing with here?
SCP-682 slinks towards him, smoke still curling up out of
What
his
is
peering
this
teeth.
thing?
Wow.
Heavy, thunking steps. It climbs the ramp towards him, stopping just
Oh,
short
I
of
think
the
he's gonna
trap
capture
door.
it.
The two of them stare each other in the eye, predator and prey. Neither move for a moment. Then it opens its mouth. The archaeologist closes his
He
eyes.
did.
Dodge.
No,
Do
he's good,
dodge
he's good, he's
move.
good. They're gonna be friends.
Disgusting creatures deserve this.
Oh yeah, it can talk
He
too, by the
opens
way.
them. Did the monster just
What?
speak?
It must have been a person before.
They hope
super
to
intelligent.
accomplish by attacking me.
He gulps hard. That whisper he heard in the woods, the rock he'd been standing on. They're scientists. Scientists always try to learn more things, understand the world better.
The flip?
We think you can't be killed, so they're testing their hypothesis. The creature growls. The stench of rotten flesh fills the archaeologist's
Oh,
nose.
Ew.
He
no,
takes a step
no,
towards
no.
him, then another. The archaeologist runs. He'll leap off the other end of the platform. It's a big jump, but he could make it. The predator's breath is
No
on the
way
back
he's
of
making
his
that
neck.
jump. It's
He
GG's.
jumps just as the trap door gives way. With an enormous thud, the SCP falls into the steel enclosure.
No way.
Before it has
Is
a
he stuck
chance to
there?
It's that
move,
easy?
the
They
spring
got him.
unhitches the steel lid.
Wait, this thing was like the most
crashes down
intelligent
into
being.
place, sealing the monster
How did it fall for
inside.
that?
No, wait, it's that
The
thumb.
archaeologist lands
It's-
in the dirt
wow,
and
this
rolls
thing's
onto his
dumb.
back to see the professor,
How?
wild-eyed and cheering, up in the crane's cabin. He
He's
lies
crazy.
there on his back, panting and staring up at the stars. Clunking sound echoes through the clearing, and the gurgle of a liquid flowing through pipes. He
Liquid.
sits up, adrenaline still
They're trying to
pumping
drown
through
that
him.
thing. But it can
The
breathe
professor has
underwater.
plugged a pipe into the metal enclosure and is running gallons and gallons of liquid into it.
Maybe it's like
Follows the
acid or
tube with his
something,
eyes
trying to kill
all
it?
the way to the enormous
It could be.
hazardous vats on the edge of the clearing. Hydrochloric acid.
Oh,
I
nice,
called it.
Alec.
In horror, the professor laughs at him. Come on, cheer up. We're just scientists, that's what you said. Just testing a hypothesis.
Yeah, there's no way that worked. This SCP is literally impossible to destroy. And yeah.
You were right, Jack. I'm gonna have nightmares.
Today we're reacting to SCP-999, which is one of the scariest SCP creatures in the entire universe, also known as the Tickle Monster. We're gonna find out his origins and how he became such a tickle master. If you don't leave a like on this video right now, he will get you and he will tickle you.
Almost all cross-testing to kill or pacify SCP-682 had failed miserably. If you haven't seen it, go watch our video on the legendary hard-to-kill reptile to see just how powerful and terrifying this creature is. It faced the Gate Guardian, an SCP with a flaming sword hotter than the sun, capable of tearing your atoms to shreds, and came out fine. In its face-off with the horrifying SCP-096, also known as the Shy Guy, it broke the Shy Guy's mind and reduced it to gibbering despair. Even SCPs with supposedly unlimited powers simply refused to engage the beast in combat.
Wow.
So, when it was proposed that they test 682 with SCP-999, a creature known among Foundation staff as the Tickle Monster, the idea was considered laughable. 682 had been burned, suffocated, cut up, incinerated, and growled in the faces of the gods. How could this so-called Tickle Monster ever hope to survive an encounter, let alone win a
Sleeping
fight?
on the Tickle Monster.
Some even believe that—
So wait, boys, why do you think that the Tickle Monster is something that could go up against one of the hardest to destroy SCPs ever?
Well, from what I can tell, the Tickle Monster looks like a very cuddly, friendly being. So maybe it convinces all other things that it's actually super happy and jolly and a good dude. And then out of nowhere, from the depths of evil, destroyed. Easy peasy.
Wow, he pretty much crawled into my brain and pulled out all that information because that's exactly what I thought.
You guys are close.
even believe
but
that this was
not
the
that
last
close.
we'd see of
We'll find out.
SCP-999.
Comment down below what
But
you
what
think.
makes this story truly remarkable is that that isn't how this played out. As you'll soon discover, SCP-999 is an amazing and unique SCP in and of itself. But its secret origins and its interactions with some other prominent figures in the SCP universe are what make this humble,
It's Shy
slimy
Guy.
creature beyond
There's no way
extraordinary.
the Tickle Monster is beating all
Prepare
these
yourself for
great
the
SCPs.
heartwarming, yes, you heard that right, the heartwarming story of SCP-999.
I don't think it's actually a heartwarming story. I think that he is convincing everyone that it is a heartwarming story.
For some
Alec
reason,
will not be tricked.
For some reason, the Tickle Monster reminds me of like Ditto from Pokemon. I feel like he's gonna be able to transform into anything.
Could be, could be. See, SCPs are not only very dangerous, they're not only very frightening, but they're very deceiving as well. And I think that this might be the most deceivious Pokemon SCP of all time.
Is the Tickle Monster in your room right now? I feel like he's getting you.
Alec, you might be onto something here, but I will say, I've only shown you boys the bad SCPs, the scary SCPs, but there's another side to SCPs that you haven't seen yet.
Well, let's find out.
Several highly trained agents on 682 Detail placed 999 into the immortal lizard cell.
He's always
Compared to the
smiling.
giant
Look at him.
reptilian sitting across from it, 999 wasn't much to
Hello.
look at. It's a large orange amorphous blob of anomalous slime. Weighing in at around 120 pounds, SCP-999 was nothing compared to the monstrosity it was supposed to face.
Wow.
While its weight has in the past caused minor injuries to some of its human handlers, it has never caused serious or long-lasting damage of any kind to a living thing. Even its diet consists only of candy and sweets,
the heck?
with a particular preference for M&Ms and
This is
Necco
awesome.
wafers. It
I wanna be
consumes
Tickle
these
Monster.
treats through the cell membrane of its slimy body, much like an amoeba. This extremely stretchy membrane means the creature is highly malleable, including the ability to stretch and flatten itself out to a mere 2 centimeters thick.
Wow.
At rest, the creature takes a dome-like shape around 2 meters wide and 1 meter in height.
This
The
reminds
closest
me of, like,
things the
Alec's
creature has to
eyeline
limbs
up.
are prehensile pseudopods. Those are the arm-like projections normally seen on single-celled organisms, of which it has at least 3.
Oh my
The more you
gosh.
hear about this utterly harmless creature, the more that matching it up with the pure embodiment of absolute hatred known as SCP-682 feels downright cruel. In absolute contrast to the misanthropic attitudes of the reptile, 999 loves humans. It has a playful dog-like.
There's something else they're not telling us about SCP-999, the tickle monster. There's a dark side, and we're about to find out what it is.
Why do you think that, Adam? It's just a cute, cuddly little orange ball.
No. It's never like
That's
that.
all it is.
No, it's not, Jack, and you know it. You know it. You're not
Sometimes,
telling
Adam,
us
you just
something.
gotta believe.
You know.
You just gotta believe in something, Adam. You gotta believe that things can be good. The world is all filled with sunshines and butterflies and rainbows.
No!
They say that the people with the most amount of love have the most amount of hate as well. So maybe this guy has a little trigger in him that
gosh.
if you flick that trigger, boom, he goes nightmare mode and just destroys everything. That's what I think.
Yeah, we know.
Much like an overexcited puppy when approached, 999 will react with extreme joy and slither towards the nearest person in order to interact. It will leap onto them, using 2 of its 3 prehensile pseudopods to hug the person, while the third nuzzles the person's face, emitting high-pitched cooing and gurgling noises throughout. The creature is apparently
probably
pleasant
gross.
in every
So
conceivable
slimy.
fashion, as even its odor has been reported to smell just like the favorite scent of whoever is smelling it. Examples have
Adam, what would it smell like for you?
Candies and sunshine.
Alec?
Freshly baked donuts. That's my favorite thing ever.
Mine smells like Alec's mom.
Oh, wait. Can I change my answer?
Yes.
examples have included chocolate, fresh laundry, bacon, roses, and Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
It's almost impossible to oversell
who says
just how
Play-Doh?
beloved
Play-Doh does
and
not smell
benevolent
good.
this strange
yeah,
creature
that
is.
smells awful.
It's one of the
Definitely
rare
need that.
sapient SCPs to earn the safe class, and it's allowed to roam freely around its facility at all times, apart from a 1-hour bedtime period between 8 and 9 p.m. In the rare
trust it.
instances that 999 has caused harm to a worker at the facility, it immediately began to back away and contract its body while whimpering in a kind of dog-like apology. The closest the Foundation has ever come to having a real incident with the creature was the time someone accidentally fed it a can of caffeinated cola, causing it to become hyper for an hour before becoming visibly queasy. You'll be relieved to know that it's since made a
Got
full
a sugar
recovery.
rush.
But what would happen
Something is
when this
creepy about
whimsical
this, I don't
creature
know.
is forced to go toe-to-toe with the Foundation's most ill-tempered monster?
It would get
The
destroyed.
employees observing the test watched in suspense as 999 began to enthusiastically slither towards
It
682.
should not be a close battle at all.
I think that it's kind of like SpongeBob, where if you punch it really hard because it's like jello-y, it doesn't actually take any damage. So it's like impossible to actually hurt.
So you're saying like they're both invincible and impervious to all damage?
Yes, impervious.
How
yes.
do you win and how do you lose? I don't, like...
Adam, it's not all about winning and losing sometimes, okay? It's just about becoming friends and learning more about the other person.
Exactly. That's why it's a tickle monster. Maybe it just tickles you to death because sometimes I laugh so hard I can't breathe and maybe that's what it does.
Exactly. A little laughter cures everything.
It's no surprise that after being tortured and almost killed hundreds of times during testing, 682 had grown jaded to the cross tests it was regularly subjected to. When it saw this strange orange blob squelching across the ground towards it, it sighed and groaned, expecting the worst. "What is that?" the creature asked of its gelatinous guest.
Sounds like Batman.
SCP-999 began jumping up and down in front of 682
Yo.
like an excited puppy, creating a
I'd be
high-pitched
so
squealing
confused
noise.
if I was at SCP.
Just as it regarded all living things, 682 thought the creature bouncing around before it was disgusting and hardly worth the effort to destroy. Was the Foundation even trying anymore? With a single vicious stomp, 682 flattened the friendly creature beneath one of its feet. Observers were prepared to charge in and liberate 999 from under 682's claws. But then something truly unexpected happened. The expression on 682's
Something crazy
acid-eaten face began to slowly change.
It's
It
gonna
was
tickle him.
beginning
He's like he's
to
about to
smile.
laugh.
Observers
Yeah!
recorded a noise what they
It's
thought could
gonna
have been a
work.
chuckle as the creature growled
What?
and said, "What is this?
He's tickling his hand.
Feel good."
Hey, yo! Yo, tickle monster, what are you
Stunned
doing?
at what was happening, 999 began to slither and crawl up from between
Oh my
682's
God.
toes.
Ew.
Step monster,
Reformed on
chill.
its scaly leg and slithered up along its side
Whoa!
until it reached the neck. There
It's
it
going
began
all the way
to
to its
nuzzle like it
face.
had
They're best
never
as
nuzzled
buds.
before.
This guy's
The
crazy.
results spoke for themselves. 682 was grinning and chuckling, repeating a phrase that the Foundation never would have imagined coming from 682. "Feel so happy.
What?
Happy.
So this is just a little ball of sunshine.
Happy."
Pretty much.
Just when you thought
there's something else. There's
SCP-999
something
couldn't
else.
possibly be more adorable, you learn about its greatest power, bringing joy. Anyone and anything that comes
I
into
don't buy
contact
it.
with the creature, even in passing, will experience a kind of mild euphoria. As one's contact with the creature is prolonged, this overwhelming
what is
sense of joy
going on?
increases and continues long after you've separated from it.
It can't be
Prolonged
this good
contact
all
has
the time.
completely cured depression, anxiety,
It is,
and
Adam.
PTSD, along with a number of other conditions.
There's something they're not
including
telling
rage
us,
and
I know it.
antisocial personality disorders. Serial killers practically become saints after coming into prolonged contact with 999.
What?
And in
Wow.
that moment, 682 was no exception.
This thing is
And
awesome.
there truly does not appear to be no exceptions. While causing happiness and joy isn't a dangerous weapon, when it comes to SCP-999, it is an extremely powerful one. And what's more, SCP-999 also appears to have an innate sense for those who need its help most.
It's like one of those
With a
therapy
particular
dogs.
affection for the hurt and the
Exactly.
unhappy. The creature appears to be a true altruist on a
invincible.
fundamental level, even risking its own safety to help humans during dangerous containment breaches.
He's never
In
not
one
smiled.
dramatic instance, 999 leaped into the air to
Whoa.
block a bullet from making contact with a member of staff.
Let's go.
As a result, the creature is pretty much universally loved by all members of Foundation
Alex, do
staff.
you love it?
It's the one
I think I
SCP
do.
who has
I'm
never
starting to
made
love
It's
it.
trouble
making me
for
happy.
Back
I
in
know.
SCP-682's containment cell, the beast was still
if it's-
smiling and
what-
laughing
what even
as
is it made
999
out of?
rubbed against its neck.
That's what I'm
It was an
curious
event
about.
so
Honey.
strange, so unprecedented,
something
that the
nasty,
observers
probably.
in attendance felt like they were hallucinating. For a few minutes, the monster kept
mind
dreamily
control.
repeating the word, happy. But then, suddenly, the creature began to enter a fit of uncontrollable, booming laughter. It rolled onto its back, slamming its huge tail against the
Whoa,
door.
what
It
the
had
heck?
just fallen victim to one of
I wonder if it
999's
can slither
favorite
into its ear and
pastimes,
take over its brain.
tickle fights. Hence how
Tickle
it earned
fights.
its
It wants to
tickle
take
monster
over.
nickname among
It
staff.
just wants to tickle.
I
The
don't
tickle
know,
fight
Jack.
continued until
how it
682
starts.
appeared
It just
to
wants
tire
to-
and fall
It
asleep.
always starts with a tickle
smile
fight,
still on
and then
its
it
face.
gets dirty
After
and
15
bad.
minutes of inactivity, 2 D-Class personnel were commanded to enter and retrieve SCP-999 from the containment cell. They did so successfully, but as soon as 999 was removed, 682 roused from its slumber and released a powerful psychic attack from its entire body while laughing maniacally. It rendered all personnel within a certain distance incapacitated.
tickle monster give that
as
thing
they
powers?
collapsed in fits of
Ah,
laughter, allowing
got me.
682 to escape and
Jack.
go on a violent rampage.
Wake up, Jack.
However, in spite of this, 999 showed no fear and helped save some of the bystanders as security officers subdued and recaptured 682. And even after all of this, 999 showed no hard feelings towards 682 and indicated a desire to play again.
He's the perfect
It's a creature whose
SCP.
capacity for love is
He's
so
my new
limitless
friend.
that it's practically
I love
immune
him.
to fear. Which is all well and good, because the true enemy that 999 is destined to face is infinitely more powerful and terrifying than 682 could ever hope to be.
Isn't that the most
What is
powerful
this
thing in the
monster?
universe?
And why should 999 have
Is
to
it the
face
devil
someday?
himself?
The answers
SCP
to
devil?
these questions all lie in the true origins of SCP-999.
Okay, finally.
Available only to those with level 5 clearance and beyond.
We're getting into the juice.
It's a perfect example of how something good can come from the darkest places. There
is
would
what
be
I was
no
talking about.
SCP-999 without
Something evil to him. There's an evil
SCP-231-7.
side.
SCP-231 was a collection of 7 girls, all impregnated.
Okay, before they get into this, my prediction is that SCP-999, also known as the Tickle Monster, is feces from SCP-231. Now, hear me out. Look at its shape. What does it look like? It looks like a turd. It probably smells like a turd.
You don't even know what the next SCP that you're talking about even is. How do you know that it can poop?
It said that it smelled good. Why do you think that it smells like a turd? Are you into that, or
Well,
what do
some
you mean?
poop smells good. First off. Second off, these 9 moms are about to impregnate some sort of Power Ranger combined force.
7, Adam. 7.
7. That's what I said. Just watch the video and watch me prove you guys all wrong. Just watch. Just
by
I don't
a
even know what
ritual
your
perform-
point was,
There
but
would be
okay.
no SCP-999 without SCP-231-7. SCP-231 was a collection of 7 girls, all impregnated by horrific nightmares in a ritual performed by a cult known as the Children of the
Yep.
Scarlet King.
Yep.
Sounds horrible.
Each of these girls, over the years that followed, gave birth to some of the most horrific monsters imaginable.
All gingers.
One of which, according to some, was SCP-682. These beings were manifested by the Scarlet King, a powerful interdimensional nightmare god, believed to be behind a great
Yep.
deal of the darkness and horror
he has
present
a tummy
within
ache.
R
No.
and many other dimensions. Foundation higher-ups have declared the Scarlet King to be the greatest existing threat to the multiverse at large. And SCP-231 was his latest direct interaction with our universe.
Oh, okay.
The only surviving member of SCP-231, SCP-231-7, gave birth in secret. But she didn't give birth to a monster. She gave birth to SCP-999.
crap.
So do you guys think that because it came from the Scarlet King, that this is actually an evil monster? Just like messing with the brains of everything around it.
Oh, that's a good theory, Jack.
I think this is actually one of the most evil SCPs ever.
I was kind of right, because he did kind of get pooped out. Just,
Right,
not,
you
not,
know, yeah.
Kinda.
Right, yeah, no, but yeah, no, so you don't know exactly what its motives are. It seems all good and dandy. It just wants to be friends with you and make you happy. But why does it want to make you happy?
You never should trust anyone that's always smiling. They always have something that they're hiding behind their face.
A being of pure goodness. That's right. The nicest, kindest, cuddliest SCP of all is the
Alex,
direct
stop
descendant of a being that's essentially the dark god of all evil. Feel free to take a moment to absorb that.
How does that
It's
even
actually
happen?
half
The
human.
creature even healed the girl who birthed it and allowed her to return to normal life with her family once more. From its first moments, SCP-999 was making positive changes to the world around it. And according to ancient texts from a Scarlet King-aligned culture known as the Deivas, SCP-999 is still very much in its infancy, yet it already has the power to pacify its monstrous
So
siblings
it's
like
only
the
a baby
aforementioned
still.
I think it's gonna try to
682.
take over the planet.
It's believed, according to some prophecies and Foundation theories, that the power of SCP-999 will grow exponentially.
Yo!
What the heck?
Go ahead,
Why
SCP.
does this matter? Well, it's believed by some that one day, 999 will grow powerful enough to overthrow not only its own monstrous siblings, but the thought to be unstoppable Scarlet King himself.
Wow.
Not through
Interesting.
violence
so
or
it's like
hate,
Zeus and Kronos.
but through the pure force of happiness
Jack,
and
that's
love
perfect.
burning out the darkness and purifying the corrupted. While the humble SCP-999 rarely outshines its frightening competitors, to those truly in the know, 999 is one of the most powerful and valuable SCPs in existence.
And he's so squishy.
And may be the greatest asset in the Foundation's arsenal for the war against dangerous anomalous activity. After all, what could strike more fear into their hearts than the knowledge that it might be love rather than firepower that finally dethrones the Scarlet King? And for the knowledge
No
that
way
it may
that would
one
work.
day save everything we know from a fate so much worse than
Don't eat it.
death,
Don't eat
with
the
nothing
planet.
but affection for everyone and everything, it's worth offering thanks to the little orange blob, or at least an extra pack of M&Ms before bedtime.
And boys, that is the story of the most powerful SCP to ever exist.
So all SCPs aren't that bad. I thought they were
No.
evil. Wow.
no,
Okay.
that is
okay.
a nice SCP.
I don't know. I'm still suspicious. I'm still very suspicious of that thing.
Today, me and the boys are going to be reacting to one of the most misunderstood SCPs to ever exist.
The storm wrenches. The yawning sound of metal buckling and ripping can barely be heard over the explosive
This is my
waves.
worst nightmare.
Crew members
No,
pour
Alec,
out
trust
of
me,
the
this is going to be
fragmented
your
ship,
favorite
washed away
SCP
with the
of all
water,
time.
like
I can't tell you why,
any
though.
flooding nest. The deck lurches and tips upwards into the air. A wave crashes against it, almost knocking the sailor off the railing.
would be
but
terrible.
he clings on for dear life. Soaked through, shivering violently,
gosh.
and feeling the dreaded exhaustion creeping into his limbs, he looks around helplessly as his crewmates drown around him. Only one
Dude,
man
this is a
remains on the
nightmare.
deck with him. But the captain's usual steely confidence has gone.
Maybe the
Behind
SCP's
man's
like a
bushy
good one,
beard
like the
and
tickle
grizzled
monster.
Skin, the
it's
sailor
gonna save
sees
them.
a little boy scared
Ooh, I
out
like
of his
that.
mind. The captain grabs the sailor by the scruff of the neck and hauls him close enough for them to shout over the sound of the seas around them. I saw her. The captain's rambling and ranting, repeating himself.
Saw who?
and
Captain's going
gesticulating
crazy. He
wildly
saw
at the
her.
seas around them.
Who?
The Naiad. I saw her in the water this morning.
What?
Our voyage was cursed from the start.
Oh,
She'd
okay.
never have left
SCP's
port.
bad.
She's in the
SCP's
water
bad.
now.
She's a
colossal
curse.
wave throws what is left of the boat
Oh
through
my
the air.
gosh,
The
dude.
railing slips through the sailor's fingers as he flies
We
high
don't even know the
between
size of
waves.
this thing.
For a
Oh,
moment,
no.
The world stands
For all we know, the SCP could be the entire tidal wave. We have no idea right now.
Is this one of those characters that like sings to sailors and then like hypnotizes them? Or
that's a mermaid.
That's what I think it is.
It could be. It could be. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but Alec, you might be on the right track.
You're right, Alec.
Yeah.
Seems like you got
I'm
hit by a
excited.
wave
Jack
in your
said,
brain.
well, Jack said this could be my favorite SCP. I'm excited.
I guess we'll find out why.
So,
Still,
yeah.
it's like he's a gull hovering in place, surveying the carnage beneath him. And there in the water,
Oh!
what looks
I
like
saw something. I saw something. I saw
But the
something.
world isn't standing still. He hurtles back towards the ocean
I'm
and
locked in.
slams into it hard enough to
This
knock
could
the
be
air
GG's.
clean out of his lungs. Icy water tugs at him,
Oh.
pulling him down.
no, he's going
that's
down.
deeper
awful.
and
Getting
deeper,
pulled down to the
colder
bottom.
and colder.
I'd be scared
Like
of sharks.
arms
Whoa!
wrapping around him,
What is that?
dragging
Oh
him.
God.
The sailor wakes with a start, Water laps
she
at his
got him.
face.
Is it fake?
What
That
were
looks
once
like the Manhattan
hulking waves
Project.
are now little more than ripples. He spits out a
she
mouthful
saved
of
him.
sand and shakes his head. His body's trembling violently.
Wait, we
from
don't know
the
yet.
cold, but the warm glow of the sun on his back is already doing its best
This
to
could
help
be
him.
like her feeding ground or
How
something.
on earth had he survived that? There are groans all around him.
Nah,
Dotted
this is
along
good.
the beach
Wow.
are his
All
fellow
of them got
fishermen.
saved.
He hasn't got the energy
I don't
to
think
count
so.
them, but it doesn't look like all of them. Just ahead of him, further up the beach, sits the captain.
See what I'm talking about?
Rocking back and forth,
He's scared.
trembling, the captain noiselessly points a finger out to sea. Using what little energy he has left,
This is
the sailor
bad.
rolls onto his back to
That's
see
good
the
they're
silhouette
alive.
Oh!
of a woman standing there on the water. No, not a silhouette. The morning sunlight is shining straight through her, as if
It's
she's
her!
made of nothing
Where'd
but
Alec
water.
go?
It's
She
the
steps
Alec just
SCP.
passed out.
across the surface of the water.
We
walking
lost
towards
Alec.
The coughing
I
fishermen
knew
who've
Alec
all
would like
seen her
this
by now.
SCP.
There's a
I think you just
delicacy
killed
to how
Alec.
she walks, tiptoeing gently on the rippling water, as if scared of disturbing it even
Oh
slightly.
my gosh.
The light dances and glitters on her skin like it does
She
across
saved
the
them
ocean.
all.
Oh my
No,
god.
not skin. She really is made of water. Every inch of her is composed entirely of what looks like the purest, cleanest water the sailor has ever seen. Was it her? The
This
arms that he felt
SCP
dragging him through the
rocks!
water?
She saved everybody.
save
Isn't that
him?
sweet?
Did she save all of them?
Wait, she's the best.
There's
Water
the best
nymph waits
SCP
with the men
ever!
Until the ambulances arrive.
Wait.
She walks across
Guys,
the
we gotta
sand,
get a
going
boat.
between them. Every few minutes, she dips her toes back in the sea and takes what looks like a deep breath, even though she has no lungs to fill.
I did not know SCPs could look like this. Like, I thought SCPs were scary, terrifying, makes you want to cry at night in horror. But
Guys, hear me out.
Exactly.
my mind's opening up to the SCP universe.
Alec is about to have the craziest hear me out of all time. Go ahead.
Let's invest in a giant boat and sail off in the sea.
Okay, Alec,
the
I see where you're
biggest
going with this.
hurricane ever.
Alec, we're gonna need to reel you back in. I'm gonna hit you with the fishing line. I'm gonna reel you back in here, okay? Alec, I get what you're saying, but they just went through a horrific experience. They almost died. What if she doesn't save us?
and we still know.
Well, she did save them.
But what if she doesn't save us?
Yeah, we don't know if she's evil or not yet. We don't know if she's gonna do something weird to these guys.
I'm willing to risk
You
it.
don't know yet. You don't know.
She can do something weird. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, guys. Comment down below if you trust this
Offering
SCP.
noiseless
That is a
comfort.
tall glass
Come
of
on,
water.
guys.
Abandoned house just up from the beach. What looks like the mansion of a former millionaire. In apparent fascination, the nymph keeps going over to examine.
Oh, she
the
goes
ornate
right to the
fountain
money,
in
of course.
courtyard. Even in a state
She'll
of
love you,
disrepair,
Alec.
the fountain.
Not
is stunning.
really.
She lowers herself gently into the water and disappears under the surface,
Huh.
just as the first
That's
ambulance
interesting.
rounds the corner.
Maybe she doesn't
As
want to
the
be seen by
paramedics
anybody.
wrap the foil blanket around the sailor and walk him to the vehicle, he catches the nymph poking her head out of the surface of the fountain's water.
That's kind of
He's not
creepy.
the only one to see.
Oh no.
Tucked just out of sight near the tree line is
That's
a
not good.
nondescript black sedan
CIA.
with a group of men sitting inside.
Those guys are definitely gonna try and capture her and like bring her back to the laboratory to do tests and experiments.
Yeah, I'm always surprised about how like the SCP Foundation, how do they even know where to be at the right time? It's pretty impressive.
Stories. They probably heard stories. You know.
If you heard stories, would you show up like this?
Do you remember in the beginning the guy talked about how he saw a lady in the water? So it was a known thing, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Because he was like, oh, it's a curse. So I'm sure they've been looking around that area for a while.
It could be.
One of them takes a photograph of the water woman in the fountain, while another talks urgently over the phone. The sailor has barely been in the back of the ambulance for 2 minutes before one of the men from the car approaches him. The man holds an expensive-looking watch in his hand.
That kind of looks like Shy
Excuse
Guy.
me, sir, does this belong to you? The sailor sits up suspiciously. He's about to open his mouth to refute the man when the needle penetrates his thigh
Hey,
and
yo.
the amnestic fills his bloodstream.
Yo!
By the time
What's
the
going
sailor
on?
What are they
arrives
doing?
at the hospital, all his memories of the previous 24 hours
They're
have
like
slipped
Men in
away
Black. They just
into
erase
the
his
abyss.
memory.
Yeah.
The containment team
crazy.
is at work in less than 6 hours, while a group of agents
Wow.
dressed in scrubs follow the ambulances to the hospital to ensure
Dressed
all
in
accounts
Adam?
of the ship's
They are
crash
no
have been
joke.
entirely erased. Another team sets to work, cordoning off the beach. A tourist
So
family.
the SCP made a big mistake. She left the ocean and she went into the fountain. So she's stuck in there right now. I don't know. I guess Alex said that she liked the money, so maybe it was that.
And that fountain's probably dirty too. It's an abandoned mansion. It hasn't been cleaned in forever.
Exactly, but you know the ocean's pretty dirty, so I guess that's just how she likes it.
Yeah.
Tourist family, excited about their day at the beach, argue with the disguised agents cordoning off the road. I'm sorry, man, but there's nothing we can do. A shark sighting is a shark sighting. We just can't risk
Shark
it today.
sighting.
Meanwhile,
They're lying.
a steady stream of
Yeah, why would they
construction
need
vehicles
backhoes?
rumbles past, followed by a large Home Depot truck. They all pull
thought
up
the Home
outside
Depot
the
trucks were
mansion,
orange.
where a team of agents has the fountain
All this for a
surrounded.
shark.
Tasers and cattle prods at the ready. They grip their weapons at even the slightest ripple of water.
No,
Excavators
don't
get to work
hurt
quickly,
her.
drilling at the ground around the fountain.
Alec, you don't even
cracking
know
through
her.
the paving stones.
Yeah, but it's
and before
mean.
anyone
She
nearby
feels like
has
he
any
does.
clue of what's happening,
Oh, there's
the fountain
pipes.
has
Maybe
been
she went down the
removed,
pipes.
Loaded into the back
Yeah,
of the
good call.
watertight fake
I
Home
don't know,
Depot
Alex.
truck
Thanks.
and has
I don't think
disappeared
they
over
mess
the
around like
horizon.
that.
The water nymph refuses to poke her head out of the water the whole way. The world around her
Okay,
is
she's in
dark
there.
and dry.
They got her.
She shakes and rumbles for hours. The beautiful fountain she'd climbed into just a few hours earlier now feels
Why would she
tiny.
do that?
There's barely enough water in here for her to swim in a circle. She'd always observed these strange-looking vehicles from a distance, lifting her eyes up above the waves for a few minutes to watch them crawling along the dark
is why you
roads
never
with
do
their
good
18
things.
wheels. She'd always wondered what was inside all of them, with their colorful
she did it on
paints and
purpose.
strange names. At least she now has some idea of what Home Depot does. Part of their business model evidently involves
She was curious at
kidnapping.
Home Depot.
To stop the panic rising up too high in her chest, the water nymph focuses on stilling the water in the fountain. All of the bumps and turns in the road, she focuses all her energy on holding all the water in place and keeping it level.
I think she has some power that we're not aware of that she's about to pull out right now. Something where she can bend the water in whatever way she wants.
Yeah, it's working on me, whatever her power is.
It could be, but do you guys think that the SCP Foundation did the right thing by capturing and kidnapping her?
Well, it depends.
I think so.
It depends what they do with her, you know? Maybe they give her everything she's ever wanted.
They just gotta find out if she's one of the dangerous ones or not. And then if she's a nice one, then she'll
Yeah,
she'll
if
get
they're
released.
mean to her, then I would say, no, you don't do that, you meanie pants.
How could you even hurt water?
You know? Yeah.
You could electrocute
I guess
it. You
burn it.
could pour it out on the ground.
Imagine
Put
if they
oil in
turn
there,
her.
light it
What
on
if they turn her
fire?
into a gas
Yeah.
and then you?
What?
If the water around her is still, maybe she won't feel so scared. It isn't really working. But at least her
she's
precious
scared.
little amount of fresh water isn't
Alex, she
spilling
needs
out
you
all
now
over
more
the
than ever.
watertight
She's calling
inside
to you,
of the
Alec.
container. She's just about convinced herself that she's used to her cage when it suddenly stops. The rumble sound cuts out, the shaking stops, and voices somewhere outside discuss what to do with her, saying words like containment protocol, initial testing,
Oh,
and
no.
security measures.
She's gonna get
The
tortured.
water nymph dips her head back below the surface of the water as the rear doors open. She's going to make the most of this. That's what she's decided. Having spent all her life underwater, observing the humans from afar, she'd always dreamed of one day meeting one.
This is
There had
almost
been
like Little
moments,
Mermaid.
Sure, times when she'd
Kinda,
wave
yeah.
at a child on the deck of a ferry or guide a ship through the fog, but up close, never. They look funny.
Whoa.
When you see them up close, they're such strange colors, so fleshy
Albert
and hairy.
Firestein.
It's bizarre not being able to see through them. How are they supposed to swim? These humans in particular are even more strange than the others.
That's weird.
Dre-
She seems so calm. I don't know why. Maybe just because she doesn't know.
Yeah, every other SCP that we've seen, pretty much, other than the tickle monster, has been like super crazy and like over the top, and they want to kill everything and everybody.
She's kind of just.
But she's just
curious right
super
now.
chill, yeah.
Yeah, that's a green light.
Dressed in long
Green
white
flag.
coats, always walking
Alec would
around
say.
with clipboards and strange little devices that light
wonder
up
how
and
old
make
she is.
sounds when they poke them. She
Probably-
wonders
she
if
could
they
be
get sick of
centuries
having their
old.
legs
Yeah,
stuck
centuries.
to the ground all the time. What if they see something interesting floating above them?
That's legal.
They can't just swim upwards. They need to get on one of those plane things. This will be fun, getting to meet real people for the first time. She keeps telling herself
Oh,
that
she's, like,
because if she
excited for
doesn't,
this.
it all becomes too scary. They haven't put her back in the sea, a river, or even a pool. They've just kept her
we
in
got
her
a
fountain.
POV
It
from
sits
her.
right
That
in
was
the
awesome.
middle of a brightly lit chamber. 4 white walls, a white
Dang,
ceiling,
that
and a white
stinks.
floor. 1 white door. The
Wow.
lights are always on. The temperature always
It's like
the
a
same.
Mr. Beast video.
For days and days, she just sits in her fountain, alone. Occasionally, one of the humans will come in wearing a big rubber suit. They look totally ridiculous.
Is that even
Taking big,
necessary?
slow steps,
She didn't do
they'll
anything
approach
to
her
them.
fountain.
I
Why
guess,
is he
yeah, they're
not
just
moving
playing
like a
She
ballet?
steps out
ballet?
of the water to greet the human,
Yeah,
doing
look,
her
she
best
was
to
waving.
wave like she's seen them do to each other. But the human immediately turned around and ran back out of the
Oh
chamber.
no, she
So
waved
next
at me,
time,
what do I
she was
do?
slow and
That would,
gentle.
that would so
looked
be
at me.
Alec. That would be Alec. But he'd run away because he's scared to talk to
That
her.
would be new. I do get nervous. I do get nervous and scared.
I'd also
you
run, I'm
know?
not gonna lie.
They say hello, I say goodbye.
You don't
it's
even
about how
speak,
our
you just
conversations
sprint.
go.
I'm Alec!
and stuff.
Gentle,
It's harder than it
raising
looks,
both her
guys.
hands innocently and letting the human approach without doing anything.
Hands
The
up.
human lowered some kind of glass container into the water in her fountain and took some of the water away. He must have been
no.
thirsty. She's seen the humans get like that sometimes. How they're not thirsty all the time, she has no clue.
Yo!
It doesn't look like there's a drop of water anywhere in them,
We're staring right into
except
her
for
eyes.
their eyes. She tries to catch the human's eye as he leaves, but he just walks straight out of her
God,
chamber,
he's terrible.
carrying
Why is
away
that
the
guy
little
so
container
sus?
of water. But this time,
He needs to find a new
she
job
has
if
an
he's that
idea.
scared.
She waits patiently for a few days, waiting for another one of the humans to come and see her.
I want to know what her powers
It's
are.
hard to tell how much time has passed because it's always sunny in here, but it must have been a few days by now.
Sure enough, the door opens, and a human in another big rubber costume comes in. She rises out of the water slowly so as not to scare them, and lets her form melt and shift. Feeling her body flow into a different shape,
Whoa.
she does her
Oh,
best
she's
to copy
changing.
the human's big rubber suit. She's practiced
whoa.
this for years in
Whoa.
the sea, copying
Hey,
the shapes
yo.
of different humans
Alex
she
doesn't
sees.
like that.
The human stops walking and stares at her. She tries to wave
That's
again.
one of her powers, Adam.
The human
Shapeshifter.
waves back.
That's
Success.
pretty cool.
For almost a minute, they stand there waving at each other. She knows this
minute
is longer
straight.
than most humans would wave at each other, but it's just so exciting she can't help herself. Maybe this will be her first friend.
I wonder if she has any
Imagine
family.
that, having a human friend. The human takes a hesitant
doesn't
step
seem
towards
like it.
her. This is her chance.
Oh gosh,
Lifting
oh gosh,
herself
oh gosh,
up
oh
and out
gosh.
of the water,
He's gonna run.
the nymph steps out of her fountain for the first time. She
This can't be
pauses,
good.
careful not to spook the human. They do scare very easily, but this time, he stays. Better than that, he takes another step towards her, then
Whoa.
another, until they're within touching
Alex,
Something
how do you
bad's
feel
gonna
about
happen.
this?
She can
Something
feel
bad's
the
gonna
water
I think it's gonna be an
beating in her
accident,
chest,
though. I don't think she's
pumping
gonna do it on
excitedly
purpose.
He's gonna
through
Will
her body.
Smith her. He's gonna Will
She
Smith
seems
her.
so
Has
friendly.
another one of those glass containers in its hand.
No.
It raises the container up slowly for her to look at. She leans in to see why this strange little creature is showing her a piece of glass. She's seen these 1,000 times before in the seas. There's glass and plastic everywhere for her to
This
look
is
at.
not gonna be good.
What's so special about this one?
Run!
The human takes a swipe at her. The glass container
No!
strikes the side of her head and extracts a chunk of water. She staggers away, hands raised in fear. What had she done wrong? Why did the human do that to her?
That's messed up.
She
That's
feels
so messed
faint.
up.
Her head swims
I
and not
told
in the
you she'd
usual
get Will
pleasant way.
Smithed.
Her body works hard to redistribute all the water around her body, rebuilding that part of herself
That
in a
wasn't
split
even that much
second.
water.
Oh,
It doesn't
no.
stop the pain or the sudden wave of tiredness.
She's got to
She
get back into
stumbles
the
back
water.
into the fountain and plunges beneath the surface, letting the water merge with her body again.
Okay, we learned a few things. One, she can feel pain, and one, she doesn't have an infinite supply of water when she leaves the source.
You said one, and then you said one again. That's two different
And
points.
also,
Adam.
one, she's super friendly and she doesn't want to hurt any of the human. At least yet. They might push her to hurt them.
But the
And
surface
one,
of the
she's super
fountain
cool.
isn't still. It trembles and shakes as she
You like her
lies
better
at
with the
bottom
suit on or
in
without,
fear.
Alec?
Why had the human done that to
No
her?
comment.
By the time she has the courage to peek out of the water again, the human is gone. The lights in
Alec,
the
you think
ceiling
you'd like
seem
her better
brighter than
if,
ever.
like, she shapeshifted into Adam?
No comment.
than ever. The next day is the first time she really misses the sea.
Could've
She
just
would
said
race
no.
from coast to coast, feeling herself getting dragged along in the ocean gyres as she flowed between continents. She would study the rainbow colors of the Great Barrier Reef
That'd be so
before catching a
boring.
current to Venice
Just be
or
stuck by
Jamaica.
yourself.
She'd hug the bottom of cruise ships and dance in and out of the propellers on the backs of cargo ships. But here, in her cell, all she can do is swim around her fountain, round and round in circles. That is, until the humans return. 3 of them come into her room.
no.
Each
No.
carrying
They have
strange
zappers.
long objects.
They're definitely
she's
twins.
not sure she's seen those things before and is desperate for a closer look. But after what happened with the glass the other day,
She's
it
gonna be
doesn't
defensive
seem like
now.
a good idea.
Why are they hurting her?
She still hasn't worked out what she did wrong there, but clearly the human was not happy with her for some reason.
I hope she freaks out and like does some damage. We need to see what power she has other than the shapeshifting. She's
But then
got
they're
some-
gonna
seems like-
kill her.
It seems like right now she could only get so big, right? Like, it would be so cool if she could just absorb all of the water and turn into like a giant Godzilla woman and then just stomp on them and kick them and shove them down her throat and eat them alive.
Maybe she can.
I
We don't know
hope so.
yet. We're gonna find out.
Best to be very gentle with them for the time being, until they're proper friends. The 3 humans have a box with them, full of water. She's so excited to see it, she leaps straight out of the fountain before realizing she needs to be careful. Patiently as
Careful,
she can,
please.
she approaches the box and
I can't believe
touches
I'm
it.
rooting for
The
SCP.
humans nod
over
encouragingly.
human.
Her excitement overwhelms her, and she dives right in.
No!
It feels so good to
Oh,
have
they
fresh
got her.
water to explore,
They got
even
her.
if it's just a small tank.
What are you doing?
Barely even notices as they close the lid on her and wheel her into a
She
different room.
is pretty dumb, not
A
gonna
glass
lie.
wall lines the edge of this new chamber. Funny little humans in white coats stand behind it, making notes. She climbs out of her little tank and waves at them. It's a smaller room than her normal one. Why have they brought her
I
in
knew
here?
Alec was about to way
A
back.
slamming noise behind her makes her jump, and she spins around to see the 3 humans have wheeled away her little tanks on wheels, leaving her alone.
How does she
in
have
her
water
room.
hair? That's
She
so
looks
interesting.
around with a little anxiety.
Wait, they took
There's
away her
nowhere
water
to swim in
source.
here. Have they made a mistake? She can't be
You
here
sure about
without
that?
water.
Yeah.
Doing her best to copy human
Oh.
movements, she tries to mime to the people behind the glass that she needs her water.
No.
They don't seem to understand her.
No.
Just start scribbling even more things on their clipboard.
She's so innocent.
warm in
Dude, these
here.
guys are
So
cool.
warm and
naive.
dry. This isn't good.
Her body's getting so
No
skinny.
time at all.
She's
She's
losing
They're
all
trying
her
to
drying out.
evaporate her.
An hour goes by, then another. She's never been out of the water for this
This
long.
is torture.
What are they doing? Don't they understand what
That's
she
messed
is?
up.
Her head starts to feel faint.
They're
She
turning a
slumps down on
hero
the
into a
floor
villain
and
before
turns
our
herself
eyes.
into a ball. Shaped like this, hopefully, she won't be evaporating so fast. Then they'll give her the water back. For hours she sits in a ball, waiting,
so messed up.
until mercifully, her little tank on wheels returns, and she's taken back to her fountain. They do the
this is
same to
torture.
her the next day, and the day after that, starving her for hours, then returning her to her fountain.
What test could they possibly be running?
I don't know. I guess they're trying to see just how she reacts to different environments, different people.
You think maybe they're collecting the evaporated water and maybe that has healing properties? Or they're selling it online to like...
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's like Twitch mods and stuff like that. It could be.
Like,
It
where do you
could
think
be.
they'd sell that though? Like
talking about?
Etsy or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, your guess is as best as mine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can probably find that if you look hard enough.
Top up the water in it occasionally,
You're right.
but other than that, they don't
You're
seem
right.
to be
But if
doing
you do
anything
buy it,
nice
just
for
let
her
me
at
Did you
all.
buy it?
Are they doing this on purpose? Surely
He
not.
bought it.
She's their friend.
He
She's
bought it.
being
Gamer
kind,
bath
doing
water.
all of their
He
weird
bought
games even when she doesn't want to. Humans aren't cruel. They wouldn't do that to her. But then she
Yes,
finds
they
herself
will.
in a different situation entirely. They do the same as they've been doing for the previous few days, wheeling her into the testing chamber and making her stand there on her own. But it's colder today. Much colder.
Oh, they're going to freeze
She
her.
tries to explain to them through the glass, rubbing her shoulders
no
and
way.
shivering. But they just
Nah,
keep
nah.
making their notes. This isn't good. She can't stand the cold. It's not good
The
for
only thing
her.
worse than the cold is probably
Painful
heat.
crystals start forming on the surface of her skin, stabbing into
Oh my
her
God,
and
she's gonna
solidifying
freeze
her
solid.
body. She cries out noiselessly, but the humans keep going until she feels herself losing consciousness.
Oh.
Weeks go by, and with each experiment they do, the water nymph worries more and more that these humans aren't really her friends. They've
Oh, you
started
don't
giving her
say.
mazes, complex plastic structures that she gets forced unceremoniously into, where she has to swim through various pipes and tubes until she can push a
that's
button
pretty
on the
cool.
other side. At first, she was expecting a prize.
I mean, that's
Maybe this
messed up.
is why they had her kept here for so long. They needed help solving these puzzles, and their fleshy bodies couldn't fit through the tubes. But nothing happens when she presses the button.
No
They
prize?
just pull a plug and drain
That's
her out of the
so
bottom.
Cruel.
Today, she's had enough. When are they going to put her back in the ocean? She's just going to wait here at the start of the maze until they tell her. It's only fair. The water in her chest leaps for joy.
How is she still smiling after all of this?
She might be the nicest SCP other than the tickle monster.
Alec?
Alec, how would you save her?
I'd break in, James Bond, the name's Alec, and I'd go in and get her out of there.
Would you bring like maybe a bucket or something
Get
to
a
put her in?
bucket, put her in a bucket,
You should... No, I think you could probably just drink her.
maybe take a sip out of the bucket.
Take her home, put her in your bathtub.
And you...
Joy, as a human, enters the test chamber and approaches her. She raises out of the water and waves to greet him, just as he lifts the long, strange device in his hand
No!
and jabs it
What
into
is
her
up with
chest.
these people?
The
Give it
electricity
up!
shoots all
Why?
through
Are
her
they
body
horrible?
And sets her mind ablaze. It takes all her
Don't
strength
cry,
not
Alec.
to
Look
burst
away.
into 1,000 droplets. Convulsing and crying, she falls
She's about to
backwards into
unlock
the
some
maze.
crazy move, I'm
The
telling
human
you.
brandishes the weapon at her
I hope
again.
so.
She has nowhere to go but into the maze. She solves it in a split second, but as she presses the button, she feels a sinking feeling settling over her. What if they don't want to let her out? It's all
Time
her
for
fault.
revenge.
What was she thinking? Her one shot at making friends, and she'd blown it. She sits crying in her fountain, feeling her tears flow into the water around her and back into her
How did
body.
she cry?
It was
Just
the
made of
acid.
water.
She hates acid, and always has. She'd swam near a factory
Aw.
once and got a dose of
Pollution.
it. It hurt, more than anything she'd ever felt before. It would flow into her chest and sit there, burning and burning. She can still feel it now. So when the humans in the rubber suits had poured some into her fountains, she'd lost her temper, slamming into them
Let's
with all her
go!
force. For months,
It's about
they'd been
time!
hitting her, jabbing her and exhausting her. But they're
Fight
her
back,
friends,
girl!
right? And you shouldn't hurt your friends. You definitely shouldn't kill your friends. Shouldn't rip open their rubber suits and force yourself down their throats, drowning
Hey,
them in their
yo!
own bodies. Her fountain's
I
red
told you
with
she's
blood
powerful.
and burns from the acid. And it's all her fault. What had she done wrong to make them treat her like this?
gosh.
Why couldn't they just be friends? After a few weeks, a group of humans come in and clean up the mess, refilling her fountain with clean water. She doesn't lift her head above the surface. They install a pipe above her fountain that drip feeds water onto her. Drip, drip, drip. And just like that, she's no longer seen as human. Drip, drip, drip. The lights burn white. The door stays closed. Drip, drip, drip. The water nymph sits in her
Could remix that into a dope song.
Adam, this woman is going through absolutely the worst time ever, and you're thinking about remixing.
It reminded
Drip?
It reminded me of the song from Enchanted. Sorry, Encanto.
I don't know what to say to that.
Like a drip, drip, drip.
Her fountain. Drip, drip, drip.
Come on, that would go hard.
After a year, she stops crying. A year
Someone
after
needs to
that,
remix that
she
song
gives
and
up
send it
on
to me.
thinking too.
Drip, drip, drip.
3 years
Empty
of
the
near
clip, clip,
silence
clip.
pass, with only the sound of dripping water from the pipe, until the door to her chamber opens.
As soon as it
Something
opens,
flutters
she's
in
gotta
her
go.
chest. She lifts her head out of the water.
Why can't she make a gun out of the
Check
water?
out the Dr. Bob Patreon and become a
No,
junior.
we don't know who it
We don't know
is.
what happens,
Nah,
bro.
no,
She's
they can't
trapped
leave us
there
like that.
and
They
It
can't.
could have been
I
Alec.
gotta know.
It's Alec. It's Alec.
It has to be Alec.
Alec, did you
100%.
open that door?
Tell us.
I guess
guess
you
we'll
guys
never know.
gotta wait to find out. But for now, click this video right here. More SCP.